Dog's draft so far. Quick.
It feels like it's meant to. It's
Nico
like a
Jarvin,
this
fucking yeah.
Nico Jarvin
Pop
into in between worlds. Oh yeah, no, this is a pop blossom and a cataclysm
Okay, we're
into.
back.
Oh, are we back? We're good. We're good. All right,
Sir.
perfect. As we were just getting right into talking real quick, as we do see Dorado Gaming ends up banning out the SYN and the Aatrox up for that top lane, as they're trying to make sure that the top laner, SOAS, is not able to have any like real strong top laners to be able to use up there. And then we're gonna see Syndicate Refugees able to ban out the Syndra and the Galio. So we got a lot of the mid lane focus going on, even though it was already picked. Maybe they're expecting Espada to go this top lane with a top lane Aurora, but we do see the Orianna being picked for SYN Refugees, and then the Ezreal being picked up for Manaxia, as we did see last week. Manaxia on that Ezreal was insane. So they definitely got to be careful. And
it is an Aurora top. Nice.
All right, so an interesting flex up in the top side. I was not expecting that, but okay, we're gonna definitely get a very interesting AP heavy composition here from the side of Dorado Gaming that doesn't really have a true tank. So right now, seeing SYN Refugees picking up here the Ornn kind of rounds out their composition, where like now it's gonna be on this Jarvan to be kind of that meatball, and he doesn't really have that. He's more bruisery, so it's not. I don't think he's gonna really have the jumping in. If they can't get immediately on top of Ashe or somebody, this is going to be very dangerous, and it's going to be for Z-Struck and Guo. This is going to be a very interesting combination, because that's another ball delivery that with Zinzao going into the middle of all of them, and then Shockwave. So
yeah,
it's a very, I think both compositions are actually very interesting, because you kind of see exactly how Dorado Gaming wants to play the entire top side, like wants to play the actual map itself. Like you see the combination, like you see when they press their buttons what it's exactly supposed to do on the side of Dorado Gaming. But I kind of see the vision that SYN Refugees is having currently. So we're just gonna have to ultimately see who ends up winning. Will those support bands actually come into use here for game one, and will it allow SYN Refugees to be able to win? Or is Dorado Gaming really this force that people are expecting to be able to win it out in all their games coming up? So next up.
I mean, yeah, kind of. However, I mean, we saw this last week where a lot of damage will beat out, especially if it gets ahead. A lot of like meta slash tankiness, right? So Aurora, a lot of the, a lot is going to be put on Espada's shoulders here to get a lead, and not just a lead against Ornn, but a lead big enough that they'll be able to use and carry over through the early to mid game. I actually wouldn't hate to see Guo come over to the top side on this Xin Zhao and try to get at least a little bit of pressure on this top lane to see if maybe they can, slow down Espada. But that Aurora is such a lane bully. We've seen it time and time again, how hard it is to lane into it. Some other lane bullies like a Rumble or a Yone, they struggle a lot into this matchup, and for a reason. However, Ornn, super tanky, is going to be able to, probably take a lot of this damage and not have it affect them too much, especially as we get earlier or later on into like the mid game and stuff like that. Outside of that, it looks like the jungles are kind of going the same direction. Jarvan clearing as normal, a little bit faster than the Xin Zhao will get, and then both of the junglers will be tracked at the Raptor cants. And then on the bot side, we're going to see a lot of this poke coming out from the Ezreal and Nico. We do see a little bit of a lead early on CS wise for the Ezreal, but that might just be the wave crashing in. So early on, Solo Mason and Phenomenal going to have to do a lot to sort of curtail this this damage that's going to be coming out. And one of these things about Nico is she kind of acts like a Lux Cake kind of thing, where like you get hit with one of her E's and like that could be it, right? So it'll be interesting to see how they end up coming through here in an early Cheaters recall by the Ezreal to get out this tier to start that up early. I really like this. The shove into the Cheater recall. Like, I really like that play coming out from Dorado's bot lane.
And you obviously, of course, he's going to want to try to get that tier as quickly as possible. And with that little bit of a farm advantage that he managed to get, like we did see, like they were pressing them under the tower. And it's kind of hard to basically stay away from that as constant Ezreal Qs. The Qs from Nico as well tends to be very, very... Uh-oh, hold on. Yengu looking like he's going to invade. Finds Guo, but not sure if that's going to end up being it. Here comes the fight. They're going to end up kind of going. Goes right up. And it's actually Guo with the health advantage. Managed to land the abilities, but there is Cleos right there. Phenomenal coming up too. Charm going to miss on the Z-Struck, and they're looking like they want to continue the fight. Guo jumping right on top of Cleos. Cleos trying to get away using the Foxfire. Gets knocked up. Flashes over and heals from the wall. And it's Yengu, though. They're trying to continue as Nico trying to get a little bit more space for his jungler, and it's going to be just enough as Solo Mason ends up finding Manaxia. Manaxia now able to land a bit of damage onto him as Guo jumps right on top, flashes in. Manaxia not going to be able to get away. The first blood's going to go right over to the Xin Zhao, and they want to continue the chase, but the E landing on him able to stop any more follow-up. That's the first blood going over to Xin Zhao on the side of SYN Refugees.
Yeah, and I love the play initially by Yengu and Cleos and Nico and Gremlin on this Nico, right? I love the initial play because you guys have the number advantage, you have the prio in the bot lane, and Monoxia for some reason sits down on the bot side trying to shove this wave into the Ashe. Now, the biggest thing here, he thought he would be able to steal the blue, misses the flag and drag, and at this point now you're just kind of screwed. You do have the numbers advantage, so he does stick around a little bit too long, and now Cleos missing the charm, and then Gremlin is going to come here and kind of like just not be enough. And it would have been great if Monoxia had roamed up a little bit earlier on this play to join this fight, because I think this could have been an easy 2-0, maybe even 2-1, you know, as Monoxia going in an early use of the barrier. I like that, but just not enough to be able to get away. Once Ashe is on top of you, you're not getting away from that at all. And so big turnaround play from the side of SYN Refugees. Early on here, that's exactly what they needed. And a big mistake off of a good call, just bad execution from Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, and I think that, again, those are those types of plays that aren't necessarily the end of the world. As you said, like, if there was just some different types of timing, that fight could have went completely different. And we did see that Monoxia was actually dropping off some damage real quick. And that's an early game only tier Ezreal. So as long as he continue to hit those Qs and stuff, the Solo Mason definitely had a little bit of fear in the beginning of that fight. So it was, I'm seeing someone say that maybe Yengu over the wall wasn't the tech, and it's like he wanted to steal that blue, man. He needed the blue buff, man. So it was just, you know, he made a very interesting fight, and unfortunately it did end in the life of Monaxia being taken, but at least one, it didn't go to the Ashe, so there's no real like full advantage being taken, only by head by an assist, but the farm difference is still the same. So it's not like, oh, Monaxia really lost out on a whole lot. So Dorado Gaming right now is still in a very good spot to be able to continue scale into this game. And then again, we kind of suspect that once Espada gets a decent, if Espada can get a decent lead, which he kind of has a 20 farm does with a 20 farm lead right now, but we do see that they're going on top of Phenomenal as a lot of damage dropped onto this Seraphine, and that's someone very squishy. Oh, hold on. They don't see them there, but Yengu is hanging around the Drake, but he's looking for it. But Guo is right behind him, ready to do a counter gank if need be. Yengu roaming up does see the control ward, and Guo though deciding not to continue to engage as Nico was right there behind him. So that was a nicely little contested vision, but I think that's going to end in the Drake for Dorado Gaming. Well done by them.
Yeah, as it should, and chunking out Seraphine there was absolutely huge, but they do kind of want to call for this. You know, mid does have about an equal prio here, so both of them will be giving it up as this fight's about to start out here.
Using the fruit to go in, but Guo tries to jump on top of Monaxia, and it's not gonna work. Monaxia able to get revenge for his death in the previous fight. Now it's gonna be Z-Struck trying to chase down Cleos as he's nearly taken down, but uses the Foxfire to get the extra movement speed, able to get away from the Orianna. The Drake is still gonna go over to the side of Dorado Gaming, but they also secure a kill as the Horn is called down in between worlds. Gonna miss, but Espada so low of health. Is that gonna be enough? The Orange just gotta clap him, and there it goes. Soaz in the solo up in the top side, able to take it as SYN Refugees now gets the kill lead.
That's not what you want, right? Like, you have the Ari. You should not be getting poked out by an Orianna. You have the Aurora top, which you picked blind into this Ornn. That shouldn't happen. A bit of an overstep, maybe a misplay. I mean, Ornn is one of those champions that has like a surprise amount of damage, right? I think that's fair to say. So you can get kind of taken maybe a little off, you know, off the back foot there, but that kind of play can't happen if you're on the side of Dorado Gaming. Like, you need to be bullying that lane, and the only way that any kills should ever really come out of that is when Xin Zhao and when Guo and Z-Struck come up there to help him, right? So Espada that puts you pretty far behind. And this is one of those things that we were talking about in draft and pre-game, is that like when you draft for damage, you can win if you out damage by a lot. As now Cleos
is gonna land Z-Struck, landing, getting a lot of damage done to him, but the Foxfire gonna be coming out. But Guo is here. Spirit Rush now activated, trying to get the little bit of damage needed to try to get down Z-Struck. But Guo still hanging around, waiting to see if Cleos is actually willing to go in and use that last bit of charge. Gonna use it over the wall instead, and with the Q missing, not gonna be able to get the charge, and it's gonna be the end of the fight there. But Cleos definitely fighting back now.
Yeah, and you know, good trade there. I didn't really see what happened in the mid lane the first time, why they got pushed out so hard. Obviously, nothing really much came out of it. Dorado still gets the dragon. They still get the kill back from the bot side because Guo went a little bit too deep. So it wasn't really a huge play, but yeah, you don't want to see the Ahri getting taken out. You definitely, if you're Dorado Gaming, don't want to see Espada getting solo killed by SYN under his own turret. So yeah, I think they're just gonna have to play a little bit smarter now. I wouldn't hate to see Yengu come up top here and try to bully SYN either out of the lane, get him super low so that Espadas can do some damage, or you know, transition that straight into a grub plays. We're gonna see he's gonna back on the bottom here, and Xin is still clearing his blue side, so he's gonna have the tempo push here. If he goes straight to the grubs from here and Espada doesn't make any like silly mistakes, then I think that we could see an easy 3 grubs and maybe even a kill for the side of Dorado Gaming. That would be potentially what I would be seeing as the next call here.
And I think that Yengu is listening to you as they are going towards that top side now, making rotations around the mid and jungle, the mid and top side. And yeah, as you can see, the pings are coming out. He's saying where he's rotating to, and this is where they're gonna transition right back to a grubs play. Guo not able to find anything on the bot side as they're not too far pushed in, so he can't even do a lane gank. They weren't able to really do anything else, so he's gonna be having the back here, and that's gonna be an objective now. Another objective, unfortunately, on the map lost to Yengu here, as he's able to secure all 3 grubs. It looks like.
Yeah, and that's something we were talking about earlier, right? Like, you know that they should have prio as
oh, the shockwave gonna miss,
yeah.
As the Spirit Rush is also used ult for ult from both sides in the mid lane.
Actually, oh yeah, she did. Yeah, and like I wouldn't hate to see Guo, instead of trying to go bot into a Nico Ezreal, just go top. Like, SYN's already got a solo kill. You know, that's jungling 101 there. You know, help out your lanes that are winning and that are going to be able to carry for you. And even though Ornn's not a carry, if he can get to the point where Espada doesn't do damage and any trades just kind of automatically go his way, you know, that's huge for your team. So he's going to be, you know, your main line tank and your front line, and he's also going to be part of your, you know, ult upon ult kind of engage that they're going to have for the late game. So I would love to see Guo kind of go for that, but it does look like he still wants to kind of punish this bot lane for overextending. He just has to get to the point where they are overextended, and he does have clear vision, so this is a long play that they are waiting on. So we'll see if they can take advantage of Monoxia not having the wherewithal of where the jungle is, and this could be big for the side of Refugees, as
we just need that. Solo Mason's just got to play it a little bit, you know, like, here we go. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, gonna be able to miss, uses the Arcane Shift, able to get away, but everything is being dropped, and it's just gonna miss, able to flash away. And guess who's here? Nico, trying to save the day, but Yengu's coming from the top, looking for the rest of their targets. With the TP being called down, we're gonna end up seeing the Ornn trying to come and help as Cleos, oh no, the Orianna gonna be coming down to help as Cleos also makes their way. They managed to get some big summoner spells out of this fight, as the teleport is used by Z-Struck, but they did get both the flash and barrier out of Monaxia on this Ezreal. So it's gonna be that's gonna be their next major target, as we do see the Drake is spawning here in 15 seconds. And the side of Dorado Gaming definitely has the lower HP bars at the current moment. We're just waiting to see if Cleos or somebody can make something happen. Flag not gonna find any targets. The Mountain Drake has now spawned. We're waiting to see. It's gonna be a couple Qs hitting on. Yeah, if those Qs keep hitting like that, that's gonna be a lot of damage. As Guo immediately chasing in, looking for Monaxia, wants to get this Ezreal out of the picture, out of the fight, and it's not gonna be enough just yet. As Cleos able to secure the kill onto Guo, but the Nico using the Pop Blossom is gonna be able to get on the 3 different members. Not gonna be able to find any kills, but the Ornhorn getting called down, gonna miss in such low HP bars. Is the W's gonna be enough? No, it barely misses. Solo Mason couldn't secure the double kill right there, but at least that fight is going to be enough for the side of SYN Refugees to be able to secure the Drake.
Monoxia picking right up where he left off last week on this Ezreal. This is absolutely insane. I can't believe that out of the 3 bans, they didn't ban this dude. Like, no flash. Guo just automatically just flashes Audacious Charge, hits the ult, just gets right in there, and still not enough. And then, yeah, just the spacing on him, almost perfect. Nico, or Gremlin on this Nico doing a really good job here as we're about to get into the replay here. And then, yeah, this is just absolutely insane. And it kind of seems like they're just not on the same page, maybe. He did have the Ori ball. I think maybe he might have gone outside a little bit too much. But as you said, no flash, no barrier. He does E away. Guo getting into here. Yeah, it does look like that. And then a good job from the Orianna to keep the Nico off of them. But then, yeah, Flag Drag on top of the Nico all coming through. And then this is like the saddest thing ever. The Ornhorn just too far, like splits the uprights there. Super sad if you're Soaz there. And that entire time, yes, you get the dragon, but Espada also gets an even bigger CS lead and is able to just stay top and get caught back up from you know, when they gave that solo kill over. And we just missed a kill here. Looks like they went behind the turret here into no vision land and get a free kill for Gremlin on their E-sub appears for Dorado Gaming Sigma.
And this is a very low kill game, but I did not realize how much. Wait a second, we do have Cleos finding Phenomenal, able to land the charm, having to use the ult flash under the tower, looking for the kill. Encore gonna miss, and the return of the ball is gonna be enough for Cleos to be able to secure that kill onto the SYN refugee support. 3k gold up. They just found Guo, trying to chase a little bit more, not gonna go for it as the blue buff is secured by the side of SYN refugees. Guo trying to just take a little bit more of his jungle, but he can't even do that much right now as SYN Refugees Dorado Gaming goes up 3k at the moment, and they're only 2 kills ahead. They've been doing a real good job of farming, taking some of these turret plates, and just keeping the gold advantage in their favor. As Soaz is looking to engage a little bit on this top side. He really wants to, that turret is looking ready to just get knocked down.
Yeah, and we're seeing here
oh, Cataclysm dropped out on top of Phenomenal. Guo goes into the middle, and this might be the death of Yangu right here as Phenomenal trying to get away, but the True Shot Barrage is going to be able to hit him, and there's just so much damage coming out of this Ezreal as Orianna able to get the double kill as Duo and Yangu and the Nico are going to be able to drop. But here we go, flashing over the wall, trying to get away from the shots of the Ashe and trying to find a little bit more though. Espada blinking down, flashes in between worlds, not able to get the wall, and Solo Mason going to be able to get away ever so barely with his life. That's just nicely done. That was a nice little call for Espada to come down. That could have been the find of the kill, but like you said, as soon as that barely missed, it was over for him.
Yeah, I think having Cleo's flash over the wall kind of gave that away, along with the teleport. Somebody with good map awareness there, recognizing the teleport coming in and then just basically saying, all right, we're out. I would have liked to have seen Espada just kind of stay up there. I felt like the play was a little bit over by the time that they started it there, and now Soaz is going to be caught under this turret here, but he's going to flash away. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Espada stay up top. Like, they were winning against Soaz. They have the Leandries now. They have the Sork boots, and they're starting to be able to actually do enough damage to this Ornn to where they can kind of bully him. We saw, like, the you know, he tried to re-engage earlier by his turret, and it just wasn't enough. Espada's cooldowns are getting to the point where it's going to be harder and harder for him to be caught by this Ornn. So would have liked to have seen him kind of stay top and keep pressing that. But now with the bot lane opened up, here's
Ezreal getting a lot of damage down to Phenomenal, but the interest piece of arrow in the Encore, everything landing right on him as Guo tried to get him. He's trying to take out the Seraphine with him, but it's not going to be enough as Guo is able to secure that kill onto the Ezreal. And it's looking like Espada's now here, looking for Phenomenal. Cataclysm gonna drop onto 2 different members, and Solo Mason's gonna get taken out, killing spree over to Cleos as they take the double kill. Guo going down as well. You guys are able to take out Ezreal, but the rest of the team was ready to follow. That's 2 kills over to the side of Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, that was a good job by Monoxia. I mean, yes, he gets caught out a little bit there. He gets the Enchanted Crystal Arrow followed by the Encore. So yeah, you give your life, but you also set that play up and did so much damage that Solo Mason had to basically back before the fight even started. And then, yeah, having Espada come down, they're doing actually a really good job of just kind of locking Guo down during his ultimate, right? Like, his ultimate, once it's cast, you can hit him with stuff on the outside, and you can CC him, but it just doesn't do as much damage. They're doing a great job of this. So we'll see here as Monoxia is about to start this up here. Does get a lot of damage onto Phenomenal and Solo Mason here, right? So you get the root, the two ults right on the back side of that, and then here you see Duo come in. You get this. Oh my god, he still almost takes out Phenomenal. Monoxy on the Ezreal is absolutely ridiculous. And then on the back end here, we do see Flag and Drag into Cataclysm. Cleo's coming down on the bot side of the Spada, able to just kind of lock down, and then Gremlin on this Nico, following up, coming through, taking the shots, and then guaranteeing that kill. You know, they're doing a great job of waiting out this Guo's ultimate from the Xin Chaos. Now we're about to get a 5v5, the first 5v5 of the game, as it starts off with an Ezreal true shot.
Cleo, yep, we do see Cleo's coming down, does have a bit of a flank, dragging down to 3,000 HP. The rest of the members of SYN Refugees able to get something. Jangu jumps into the middle of them. MV2 World's going to drop this. The red team able to secure Hexer Drink, where they're going to be able to get away with their lives. They might just be able to do so as the blue side. They have really low HP bars. So is able to take out Yengu, Cleos, and Espada, trying to get away from the rest of the members that they're tagged by the W from the Ashe, slowing them down. That's going to be a shutdown going right over to Guo, as he's able to get the double kill, taking out both the Ari and the Aurora. Nicely done, SYN Refugees, to secure the fight, secure the Drake, and they're looking for one more target as Monoxia were able to arcane shift away, and that since I was ready to jump on top of them. SYN Refugees now starting to slowly come up ahead. No, it's not. They're looking for Monoxia still. As long as they try to be able to take this turret, we do see it's going to be Nico. Not going to be able to make a heroic play here, and Guo now going right up to the next objective to secure as he's starting to take down this Rift Herald.
Yeah, and I like this call. Now that they started getting a little momentum, they're starting to push the tempo, right? And that's exactly what you want to do. Ashe, seeing where Yengu's at, they're going to be able to get this Rift Herald basically for free. And now we're starting to see where the actual, like, tanky, full, like, meta comp, if you will, is starting to show, like, why it is meta, right? Because Dorado Gaming wanted that fight, right? They started off with the True Shot Barrage, and then they kind of collapsed in on top of this, but now you're starting to see Duo and So is able to stop so much damage. And then on the backside of this, Phenomenal's ultimate, the Encore, hits the two carries. It hits Cleos and Espada on the bot side. So I do like this from Yengu coming through, trying to get the 50-50. Really good build clone to stun the Ezreal, and then on the backside here, right, you have Ezreal and Nico sitting there, and then look at this. Oh man, it goes through everybody. Thank you so much for the Cataclysm to line everybody up. All the flashes down. You guys are just kind of screwed here as the follow through comes through. A clean 3-for-0 and the 50-50 Smite Battle 1. You're feeling pretty good if you're SYN Refugees right there.
And then the extended fight to be able to secure a lot of plating on that mid tower, as well as able to get that Rift Herald too. So they should be able to open up this mid lane for themselves once they're able to clear out the waves a bit. So I think that overall, even though SYN Refugees is still sitting behind just a little bit, they definitely are starting to get a footing in this game.
Yeah, they are. And now this is where the comp actually should be going, right? Like, you should be starting to see maybe a little bit of roams from surprise Nico ganks. You start seeing maybe a little bit of lockdown with Yengu along with Cleos and some roaming together. But SYN Refugees doing the right thing, right? Like, they're all kind of hovering around Z-Struck here on the Orianna, and they're trying their best to make sure that they don't get into a lapse numbers advantage. And that's exactly what you want to be able to do, is to have the numbers advantage, get your picks off where you can, and then start to get a little bit of a lead for your carry. Start to get Ezreal or Cleos a little bit more damage. Even Nico, can use a little bit of damage here. So Gremlin able to actually do something with the B1 pickup that they had. But on the other side, SYN Refugees also doing the right thing, and Monoxia potentially caught out here.
Yeah, pushing up a little bit too much. They try to flank on him, but Guo, they weren't able to really get that done. I was kind of expecting the exchange of Crystal Arrow just to come out like immediately, and it was like, oh yeah, no. Especially I noticed this, and I noticed people were saying in the chat too. The Ashe has Hex Optics. That's a interesting build I've never seen before with this.
So it starts out,
Ashe, so
it does give you the 25% crit just like any other one. It's a 10% buff. As long as you don't let melee champions on top of you, you get a 10% just overall damage buff along with the crit. So if you're going for a crit build, I'm starting to see this a lot. Obviously Caitlyn is one of the champions that we see it a lot on, but the other ones, Yunara, Ashe, anybody with like a good strong range and a way to keep people at bay, you get the extra 10% on your auto attacks every single time. So with the Qs, able to dish out so much extra damage, and you just add the 10%. So I don't hate it. I kind of expect to see it nowadays on any auto attacker with good amount of range. I think even Sivers are taking it, you know, in Pro and LPL and stuff like that. So could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw that too. So anybody really taking these. So I'm not too surprised to see it. It is seemingly becoming the standard now, just like what was that the new SYN item that they brought back, or that they brought in for the laners and Echoes and Dianas and stuff.
Oh yeah, the Duskins on.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been wrong before, so if the Hex Optics is bad here, I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I mean, just because you win doesn't make it a good play either. But we are about to see a team fight here start off.
Yeah, it looks like he's using the Riptail to go ahead and ram. Cataclysm's gonna drop his Manaxia, able to take out Z-Struck. Big Pop Blossom off to the back end, gonna be able to take out Solo Mason, as Phenomenal is dropped by Espada. Guo now being chased down by Kleos and Yengu, and he's not gonna be able to get away. Jumps in, Kleos able to take that kill, and that's gonna be it. So as the solo member alive right now is SYN Refugees. They give up so much in the mid lane just when things were starting to look good for them. And that's gonna be Dorado Gaming now, probably looking at the Baron to start it up as the Mountain Drake is being taken down on the bot side by Yengu.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know why they started this out here. Like, your frontliner is building an item here. You guys have to be the engage here, right? Like, if you are SYN Refugees, you want to be the engage on these fights. You don't want to be engaged on, especially flanked by Aniko here. Great job to just realize, hey, Xin Zhao is riding around on the Rift, you know, using Shelly here. Like, why not just go in? A perfect call on top of that, and then yeah, just locking everybody down in the Cataclysm, and then able to get the Proto Belt into the Nico ult on top of it. Very strong engage, and then as soon as we start talking about the Hex Optics, like they basically put Ashe into forever melee range. Anyway, so yeah, kudos to the chat for picking up on that one. But yeah, if you're gonna stand around like that, the SYN Refugees, you're gonna lose basically every fight. No, you know, see if they can do it again. Is now the next fight is going to be for the Baron, and if SYN Refugees kind of let this one go, there's gonna be a lot of poke and a lot of push and control that Dorado's gonna be able to get on top of this. So I would expect to see a potential
Some kind of contest.
Yeah, but now that's the Ash Arrow gone. So
yeah. Enchanted Crystal not gonna hit any value targets, so
teleport.
that's now at least one. Yep. So that's two different things. Very important. That's there. In between worlds, gonna be dropped here by Espada as he's looking for some of the targets. Encore gonna land on the two, but Kleos is gonna be able to take them out. As Duo uses himself to get them away. Pop Blossom gonna be able to land on the one different target. As Yengu is being trapped down, Cataclysm is gonna be dropped. Monaxi able to take out Z-Struck while he gets taken out by Solo Mason. Aurora though able to get the Guo, and once again, Soaz is the low member left alive, but this time they were able to take out two with them. But now he's looking for at least one more. They're not gonna be able to take him out. He is such a beefy tank boy. It's gonna be a little bit before they can get him. Soaz trying to find that last target. He's really looking for Kleos, and the minions are gonna be able to take it. At least Soaz gets to take out one more with him before they at least try to take him out here now. But instead of trying to take him, instead they're just gonna be looking at this turret. Soaz trying to knock them up somehow, but dang, it's not gonna be enough. Dang, it's terrible when you die to minions like that, man. That's so unfortunate.
Especially, yeah, especially like 8 seconds after the play. It's just, oof, that's rough, man.
That's the end of that fight there. This time, SYN Refugees at least was able to take out 3 of them in that extended fight for themselves, but they're still kind of behind right now, and Dorado Gaming is still feeling like they got the edge.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just kind of getting caught in corridors here. Is Monaxia also just like jumping like on top of this Ashe is ridiculous. Like, and he just keeps doing it over and over again. So oof.
Oh, True Shot Barrage nearly finds Solo Mason's life. Flag drag. They're looking as in between worlds, not gonna be able to get it, but it's jumping on Phenomenal. The Encore lands. Pop Blossom not gonna be able to do so though, and that's gonna be Phenomenal losing his life, and so is Z-Struck trying to get the flank to at least get some of these lower health members, and it just wasn't enough. SYN Refugees just feels like you're falling apart.
Yeah, that is not what you want. And I think we're starting to see now. Dorado Gaming you know, they're only 5K up, but it feels like they're up so much more. These fights are starting off with Solo Mason or Phenomenal kind of getting poked out by the Ezreal before the fight even starts, and so there's really no way for any of the actual damage or carries to come through for the side of SYN Refugees. So they have to figure out a way to keep Guo and Soaz up front. And Guo's going to try to get in here.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Spotter's going to go on a rampage. He ends up taking out the jungler's life. Now, there's no potential for a 50-50 here for this Baron. That's going to be an additional 2,500 gold total going over to the side of Dorado Gaming. And or is it 25? I think they lowered that from a while ago, right? It's not 500 each anymore. It's definitely lower than that.
Yeah,
but like it's like
good.
3 or something like that. It's still you still get it. Listen, man, you still get gold for it either way. But like it's just crazy to see. Yeah, exactly. Now it's just crazy to see that they're just pushing ever so slowly forward. Again, like, and we're gonna be talking about this. Like, was it did they like I said, they had to really win it in the draft, I think. And even though the draft from the side of SYN Refugee is actually a really good draft. Like, I have no qualms with the draft that they have currently whatsoever. But it just feels like that it's like you guys had the potential to like really pincer Dorado Gaming here, and Dorado Gaming is saying like, well, we're still gonna show up and show you guys what we can do, as they're currently sitting here about almost 7,000 gold up at 28 minutes into the game, barreling down these turrets. Right now, SYN Refugees either needs a really good pick, or they really gotta do something to be able to come back into this game.
Yeah, well, I like what they're doing right now. They're sending Ornn to the bot. They're hovering with the Xin Shao. That's kind of like your damage, your carry. Like, if 4 members of Dorado Gaming can't kill the Ornn, then surely one Espada won't be able to, right? So I kind of like what they're doing here, but they need to kind of pull the trigger on this if they're going to do it. You can't have Xin Shao just kind of sitting around. He does steal some jungle away from Yengu, but Yengu's also doing the same thing to him. And then, yeah, this has to be an overstep from Cleo's or Monoxia, I would believe, would be like what ends up starting this out. Trooper Shot Barrage is going to split the uprights here, and the trying to use the Baron minions to take out this tower. But as we see, they do have a lot of wave clear on the side and ranged wave clear on the side of SYN Refugees. So I guess we'll see what they can do. I think here comes like the arrow into the pick.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow gonna land onto Cleo's, trying to get the encore. Doesn't have any members in front of them to be able to extend its range. Gonna completely miss. That's 2 ultis from the bot laners on the side of SYN Refugees. Not gonna be able to get anything done with that. And the Baron, I believe, is up for maybe another minute or so. So there isn't too much more Baron time that they do have left. And it's gonna at least give the SYN Refugees a little bit of time to stop this bleeding. At least, oh, wait a second. Guo off to the side, tries to jump onto different members. His GA is now propped. SOAS uses the Ornn Horn to be called down, trying to get onto Yengu. But Yengu's GA is now dropped, and he's gonna be in the middle of 3 different members. In between, World's gonna be able to get popped as Solo Mason gets popped off by Aurora, but at least Auroriana's gonna be able to take out the Nico. This fight now going as the 3v4 at the current moment, as Guo has to recall, but that's more Baron empowered minions going in as SOAS tries to jump into the middle of the 4 different members, and now they're starting to attack off his HP bar as Monaxius keeps landing these different empowered Qs. Gonna be dropping down the Ornn to so little HP, just above 1,000, and now they do have the mid inhibit. They're transferring up to the top lane. We're going to see this top lane turret drop as Guo's trying to stop the wave in the mid lane, trying to get the ball onto somebody here. Z-Struck needs to find a quick pick, but they're not able to do so. They stop the top lane inhibitor from being taken, but SOAS looking to try to engage and flank from the top side, from the bottom of the team. Spirit Rush now being used. Going to have to probably use all 3 charges trying to get away. And are they going to be able to call it? No Ornn Horn here to try to slow them down. Charm going to miss. Guo might be able to find it. Not going to be able to get so. Last charge of Spirit Foxfire being used to try to get the speed up and get away. And Enchanted Crystal Arrow gonna land onto the Ahri. That's a big target, and that's exactly what they need. Guo able to take that kill, and they're looking to continue the chase. Yengu off to the bottom. Ornn Horn now called, looking for members. Not gonna be able to find anybody off to the side. But Monaxia now caught in the middle of 3 different members. Guo now getting that shutdown. That's gonna be 2 kills for him as they're continuing to chase down Dorado Gaming. That might be it. As they get the drag onto his spotter, this might be the 3rd kill. No, it's not extended. Is it gonna be enough? Absolutely insane. Encore, the shutdown goes over to the Orianna, and they're able to drop Yengu at the same time, giving a kill over to the Ashe. Pop Blossom now being dropped, but that's probably going to be the end of Mason. Yes, it is. Solo Mason loses his life, but at least 4 for 1 happens here. The only member alive is Gremlin for the side of Dorado Gaming. Absolutely big fight from a huge arrow from Solo Mason to be able to get them to be able to stay alive in this game.
Yeah, and I think Dorado Gaming just bit off a little bit more than they could chew here. As we're going to see the start of this fight. And as you said, like this arrow here, this is after they took just a little bit too much. The flash from Kleos, thinking he's going to be able to get out of here. The instant jump on top of this. And you also had the Ori speeding up Guo the entire time and then trying to walk through. So it was just like the slow burn. And then cutting them all off here with the Orn Horn. That's a spacing thing here. And then Solo Mason with the Seraphine and Guo on top of Monoxia, I think is probably the only way that they are winning that fight. But we're starting to see now where that works out in their favor. And then Espada just about enough to get through here, but this Encore just going through everybody here. That is like the second time that Phenomenal has basically won the fight for SYN Refugees just based off of this. And then Guo getting out of there just as he can, and then Solo Mason like, oh man, I went too far. The golden Nico is exactly what they needed. It does take one tiny little, one extra shot from the volley, but it's not enough. And now Sigma want to turn this back around.
Drop onto Soaz, not going to find the target that he's looking for. And that was a big chunk of damage coming out as the Encryption Hero going to be able to land onto Arius. He tries to use the Spirit Rush to get away. That's going to be the Ornhorn called down, but Z-Struck able to take out Monoxia. Pop Blossom going to be able to find Guo, but that's not the target that you're looking for. Once again, the Squishies not being found. Big big two-person Encore able to land onto the Charm. And Spot not going to be able to get anything as Guo goes on the killing spree. SYN Refugees is claiming this game back for themselves. And the Baron now up. That potentially could be a target objective for them, but they're looking to keep barreling down this mid lane instead.
Yeah, I love the fight, the scrap inside SYN Refugees. They're now just getting to the point where they're like, okay, we're just going to deathball, and we're going to start every fight off with an Enchanted Crystal Arrow. If it misses, we step back for 35 seconds, and we make them come to us, and we give up whatever objectives we have to. And then if it hits, they're just full sending it, and I absolutely love it. And Phenomenal, no pun intended, with their Encores, right? Like, they are hitting so many key targets on this. It seems like Aurora and Kleos are getting, or Spot and Kleos are getting hit like almost every single time. That time it was Kleos and Gremlin getting hit by that. So just using the Encore really well, using your own teammates to buffer and extend it almost perfectly. So it's great to see this from SYN Refugees, that they are now putting Dorado Gaming on the back foot. They were down 9k gold. They're back up to a 3.4k deficit, and the entire feeling of the game has turned back around, and it kind of seems like now SYN Refugees has put themselves into, if we can win the next fight, maybe two, that could be the game here, as Soaz trying to do what he can. Monoxia at the point now where they're barely even scraping his armor.
Yeah, it's like he's literally being tickled by these Ezreal Qs right now. Soaz is such a beefy boy, and I think that right now they need to really be thanking him at the moment. He has been the stable person, the most stable person the entire time. As we do see, Pop Blossom gonna land on the two of the missing shot, the two-shot barrage gonna be able to come out. Yango able to take out Solo Mason as the in-between world comes down. Cataclysm drops on the two members, Kleos. Now I'm gonna be able to take off Phenomenal, and that's just unfortunate. Spot assigns Z-Struck. There's only two members left on the side of SYN Refugees. They were able to find clean fights in before, but the big Nico ult gonna be just enough to be able to get them out of this game. So as the sole member basically left alive until this GA comes through, 1,000 health restored, and Kleos gonna end up taking out Guo. Now Soaz all alone between all four different members of Dorado Gaming, and it's only a matter of time before he drops here, and they're gonna be able to take him. But he said, if I'm gonna get dropped, you're getting dropped with me. I gotta just find you. He's trying to do everything he can to get Gremlin, but he's not gonna be able to do so. Soaz now gets dropped. They are aced, and that might not be the game though, as we do see Solo Mason and Phenomenal are both back up in the next 5 seconds, so we don't have to worry about the game ending just yet. And there is a potential for the side of SYN Refugees to still be able to clutch out some type of crazy fight. As we've been seeing, they are absolutely finding a way to come back into these games even from major deficits.
Yeah, I don't think that we're gonna have too much time to explain what happens here, as we see in the PIP that the Baron fight is going on. But yes, this flank over from Nico, from Gremlin on this Nico, absolutely insane, and it doesn't look like we're gonna get too much of a fight here. So yeah, they're gonna get the Baron Nashor. But yes, that start off by Gremlin was absolutely insane. And also, I think that Orianna ended up missing the shockwave as well during that chaos of the initial fight there. And then they just kind of get separated, right? Like, they're all trying to dash away and get away from all of the AoE compounded damage that Dorado Gaming is putting out. And during that time when they're all trying to get away, you know, Guo goes down, Z-Struck goes down on the outside. Solo Mason and Phenomenal kind of caught. Wasn't able to get the Encore off in time, to really do anything. And then just everybody's separated. And the lone survivor, being Soez, just doesn't have enough in him to kill everybody. Even though like it's taking forever for them to go, they're just ignoring him as these fights start. And then they're trying to clean him up at the end or just going away from him.
Flag drag Cataclysm on the Solo Mason. He's gonna flash immediately out as the in-between worlds is now dropped, but Phenomenal going to be the first victim as Aurora also drops over to Solo Mason. But look at that, Yengu jumping right on top of them. Cleo's gonna be taken out by Ash, but that's also gonna be the Ash taken out off from the side. They're not gonna be able to end this fight. Guo trying to get away, but Naxi able to claim that kill as Soez trying to tank up the rest of the damage, trying to take out anybody else with him, but he's not gonna be able to. Manaxia though, just autoing over and over, double kill to this Ezreal, and that's looking like the end of the game right there, as it is a 2 for 5 ace in the favor of Dorado Gaming. That's going to be it. They're going to take these Nexus turrets, take this Nexus, and take game 1.
3 bans don't matter to us. Dorado Gaming get the 2 picks that I think they really, I mean 3 obviously with Gremlin on this Nico. What an outstanding performance from the E-Sub, coming through for Dorado Gaming here. And then obviously Monoxia once again on this Ezreal 2 weeks in a row, just showing how strong they can be. What I hope that doesn't happen for them is a big fall off from game 1 to 2, and then the tempo. But at the same time, SYN Refugees, even though they were caught like time and time again, we did see some really strong play, especially from Soez on the top, and then Phenomenal with great synergy with their bot lane. I don't know if the Ashe, I know there's a lot of questions about the Ashe build in the chat, and I guess we'll end up seeing if that really carries over, and like would it have been different? I honestly don't know. I think that there was just so much engage and AoE damage and the ability to just kill basically anyone on the team, with the exception of Soez, that it really didn't matter too much, right? Like there was just too easy of a go button. But SYN Refugees able to claw their way back from a 10k, almost 10k gold deficit into a basically 3.5k gold before that last fight. Like they almost had it, right? Like they were this close to turning this around, and somebody in chat said no way they do 3 plays in a row. They got 2.5 plays in a row, so I guess that's the best that they're gonna get. But I think if you're SYN, like going into this next game, you're like, we almost had him. It's like the Fast and Furious. I almost had you, man. Like, I think that they, even though they were so far down, they did claw their way back. So if they can stop themselves from getting into such a deficit in game 2, they can really turn this one around. And then if you win, then it's a best of 3 series, right? And so I think that's kind of what they have to go to. They should be super stoked about how they came back in that game. And then if you're Dorado Gaming, you're like, hey, we gave away 3 bans. We had to have an emergency sub come in, and we still took the game. We got what we wanted. We let them outthink themselves. We took the Nico, and now we just kind of roll through. And into game 2, you go up 2-0, and you're feeling really good about yourself.
Yeah, and I think that there's going to be a lot of choices that I feel like that SYN Refugees is probably going to have to think about a lot in general. They probably will have to go. They're probably going to have to go back to the drawing board and be like, all right, so what exactly went right and what exactly went wrong for us? Because again, you had the ability to pick a composition that should have worked, and honestly, you were given a composition that really, in reality, could have won this game, and we saw it multiple times where these guys were just constantly barreling down and able to potentially take the game from them and just never made it happen because there was just again the target selection from the side of Dorado Gaming was absolutely phenomenal. Like Yengu saw if Yengu saw any of their squishies alone, flag drag Cataclysm every single time. Like we were talking about how like, oh, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow was basically getting used on cooldown. So was that Cataclysm, like every single time. And if in between worlds could be dropped at the same time too, boom, Aurora was right there in the middle of them to deal that additional damage that was absolutely necessary for them to be able to win. So when Soez is all like, I was like, oh, they don't have in the beginning game, I said it like, oh, they don't really have a tank. They might not be able to really get past these meatballs. Like all they have is Yengu on the Jarvan. And then what happens is like, all right, so we don't care that Soez is on this meatball. We just need to kill Z-Struck into the bot lane. Once we kill those 2, you guys don't matter anymore. Or those 3, you guys don't matter anymore. And that was very clearly done. There was a couple fights where they were able to turn it around, even though like Solo Mason or Z-Struck got caught out in the very beginning of the fight. But it was still like Man, they just had the compositions both worked out very, very well. And I think it's very interesting because people were like, oh yeah, I was seeing the chat, they were like, oh yeah, we gave Syndicate refugees they gave them an Exodia comp, you know. But I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the only thing I think that would have been changed in the composition would have been if you guys could have gotten Karma for Gremlin to go along with that Ezreal, and then they would have been basically almost another Exodia comp, I think, for the side of Dorado
I don't
Gaming as
know.
well.
That
So
Nico was clean, man.
that
That was
Nico
super.
was
That was super. Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Honestly, Dorado Gaming, for some of the flanks that Nico was getting, you guys
Mhm.
definitely got to say your thank yous to Gremlin for that one because that was absolutely insane. But I think for right now, we can go right into the break. We're gonna so that was game one of Dorado Gaming versus Sin Refugees. This is the first week of playoffs, so I hope you guys are really excited because there is potential for a 5-game series to go on. But right now, the way that it's looking, Dorado Gaming is got their foot on the gas and they're trying to make it a 3-game series. Let's see if Sin Refugees can make a comeback. We will see you guys right back on this channel. Don't go nowhere. Arrow gonna land onto the Ari. That's a big target. That's exactly what they need. Cool. Able to take that kill and then continue the chase. Getting off to the bottom. One more now. Paul looking for members. Not gonna be able to find anybody off to the side. Next now Paul in the middle of three members. Goes now getting that shutdown. That's gonna be 2 kills for him. And then continue the chase down Dorado Gaming. That might be it. And they get the drag onto his spot. And this might be the 3rd kill. No, it's not extended. Is it gonna be enough? Absolutely insane. Encore the shutdown goes over to the Oriana. And they able to drop Dingo at the same time. Get a kill over to the ad. Top lock now being dropped. So that's how good it is. He's gonna flash immediately out as the in-between worlds is now dropped, but Phenomenal going to be the first victim as Aurora also drops over to solo Mason. But look at that, Yengu jumping right on top of them. Cleo's gonna be taken out by Ash, but that's also gonna be the Ash taken out off to the side. They're not gonna be able to end this fight. Cleo trying to get away from it, actually able to claim that kill, and Soaz trying to tank up the rest of the damage, trying to take out anybody else with him, but he's not gonna be able to. Manaxia though, just autoing over and over, double kill to this Ezreal, and that's looking at the end of the game right there, as it is a 2 for 5 ace in the favor of Dorado Gaming. That's going to be it. They're going to take the Nexus turns, take this Nexus and take game 1.
Rebans don't matter to us. Dorado Gaming get the 2 picks that I think they're. I mean, 3 obviously chunking out Seraphine there, which is absolutely huge. But they do kind of want to call for this. Mid does have about an equal cryo here, so both of them will be giving it up. This fight's about to start out here.
Root to go in, but Guo tries to jump on top of Manaxia, and it's not gonna work. Manaxia able to get revenge for his death in the previous fight. Now it's gonna be Z-Struck trying to chase down Cleo. He's gonna take it down, but using the box trying to get the extra boost. He's able to get away from it for Oriana. The Drake is still gonna go over to the side of Dorado. Get also secure kill as the horn is fall down in between worlds. Gonna miss, but Espada solo low health. Is that gonna be enough? The horn just gotta clap him, and there it goes. So as in the solo up to the top side, able to take it. And Sin Refugees now gets the drop onto two different members, and Solo Mason's gonna get taken out, killing spree over to Cleos as they take the double kill. Guo have a bit of a flank, dragging down to 3,000 HP. The rest of the members of SYN Refugees able to get something. Jacob jumps into the middle of them. Every World's gonna drop this red team into secure Hexer Drink, where they're gonna be able to get away with their lives. They might just be able to do so at the blue side. They have really low HP bars. So as able to take out Yengu, Cleos, and Espada, trying to get away from the rest of the members as they're tagged by the W from the Ash, slowing them down. That's gonna be a shutdown going right over to Guo as he's able to get the double kill, taking out both.
I guess we're fine now. I don't know. I mean, just because we win, but we are about to see a team fight here start off.
Yeah, looks like he's Retro to go ahead and ram. Catapult is gonna drop his Manaxia, able to take out Z-Struck. Big pop blossom off to the back end, gonna be able to take out Solo Mason as Phenomenal is dropped by Espada. Guo now being chased down by Cleos and Yengu, and he's not gonna be able to get away. Jumps in, Cleos able to take that kill, and that's gonna be it. So as the solo member alive right now.
See, also just like jumping like on top of this Ash is ridiculous. Like he just keeps doing it over and over again. So
True shot barrage nearly finds Solo Mason's life. Flag drag. They're looking as in between worlds, not to be able to get it, but it's jumping on Phenomenal. The Encore lands. Pop Blossom not going to be able to do so though, and that's going to be Phenomenal losing his life. And so is Z-Struck trying to get reflected to get some of these lower health members, and it just wasn't enough. SYN Refugees just feels like you're falling apart. Blast charge, Spirit Foxfire being used to try to get the speed up and get away. And Transfer Crystal Arrow gonna land onto the Ari. That's a big target. That's exactly what they need. Cool. Able to take that kill, and they're looking to continue to chase. Yengu off to the bottom. More now Paul looking for members. Not gonna be able to find anybody off to the side. But actually now caught in the middle of three different members. Cool. Now leaving that shutdown. That's gonna be 2 kills for him as they continue to chase down Dorado Gaming. That might be it. As they get the drag onto his spot, and this might be the third kill. No, it's not extended. Is it gonna be enough? Absolutely insane. Encore the shutdown below to the Oriana. Being able to drop Yengu at the same time. Getting the kill over to the Ash. Pop Blossom now being dropped. But that possibly not end of Mason. Yes, it
the volley, but it's not enough. And now Sigma want to turn this back around.
drop onto Soa is not gonna find the target that he's looking for. And that was a big chunk of damage coming out as the encryption hero gonna be able to land onto Ari as he tries to Spirit Rush to get away. That's gonna be the Orange fall down, but Z-Struck able to take out Manaxia. Pop Blossom gonna be able to find Guo, but that's not the target that you're looking for. Once again, the squishies not being found. Big big 2-person Encore able to land onto the charm and spot. Not gonna be able to get anything. His Guo goes on the killing spree. SYN Refugees is claiming this game back from them. He's gonna flash immediately out as the in-between rolls is now dropped, but Phenomenal going to be the first victim as Aurora also drops over the Solo Nation. But look at that, jumping right on top of them. Cleo's gonna be taken out by Ash, but that's gonna be Ash taken out off to the side. They're not gonna be able to end this fight. Guo trying to get away, but Manaxia able to claim that kill, and so as trying to tank up the rest of the damage, trying to take out anybody else with him, but he's not gonna be able to. Manaxia though, just autoing over and over, double kill to this Ezreal, and that's gonna end the game right there, as it is a 2-for-5 ace in the favor of Dorado Gaming. That's going to be it. They're going to take these next turns, take this next, and take game 1.
Green bands don't matter to us. Dorado Gaming get the 2 picks that I think they really, I mean 3 obviously, chunking out Seraphine there.
And welcome back once again to Titans Olympus Playoff Week 1, as we are bringing you guys what's about to be Game 2 of Dorado Gaming Sigma versus SYN Refugees. And in that Game 1, we definitely had a couple surprises, a couple ecos that looked like SYN Refugees could have potentially have taken it, but it was ultimately Dorado Gaming able to really play it out and be able to win that Game 1. Fel, you want to give a little bit of your thoughts before we get into this draft?
Yeah, I just want to say that I called it prior to the game that the team with the ban disadvantage always wins. Dude, I think I want to say probably of like the 7 or 8 times that I've casted games like that, it's always turning out that way. Yeah, I just think that SYN refugees probably just overthought themselves. They were probably like, hey, this person's an e-sub, we can overban them or whatever. And I think they just kind of got in their own heads, right? And then we saw as the game played out that Dog just had a really sound strategy that they wanted to play with. We saw this in game one of last week with them, where they played around Monoxia really well. They played around with an AoE support and AoE comp, dive, everything that they wanted to get. And they're like, hey, we're going to go in. If we win 4-5, if we win 4-3, 3-2, like whatever it is at the back end, that's a win. And we just keep pushing and they go for all out damage. We're going to see now, I think, most of their surprises are probably either spent in that game or they're going to be pushed down the line maybe for a game 4, game 5. You always want to keep something up your sleeve. But SYN refugees kept it close. They did a good job of clawing back and staying inside of it. We saw that they can play strong comps and play them well. We just have to see if they can do it from the start to the end.
And as we do see, we're going to start getting into draft here. Once again, Dorado Gaming is going to be on that blue side, I believe, once again. And we do see down in the bottom, you guys will see the Fearless has expanded quite a bit. Again, we are in the best of 5s this time, so we can have the potential for a lot of champions being banned out here. Dorado Gaming, I believe, for game 2 does lose 2 bans, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Not exactly sure, but we'll see here as the bans come through or don't come through. But yeah, they do still have a little bit of a penalty because of the emergency sub for playoffs, but they're not late to game 2, so they don't miss that 3rd ban.
Which is good. And then, once again, it looks like SYN refugees for some reason. Guys, you're targeting the bot lane completely again, and I'm kind of curious as to why. Like, is Gremlin just a literal like gremlin in the bot lane where you don't want to deal with any of their supports? I mean, okay, but I would like to see a little bit more targeting of other members, because if you keep giving them the potential to win their lanes with champions that they're comfortable with, this is gonna look like not trying to seem like I'm flaming or anything, but this is gonna be a really quick playoffs. And we do see that they're, once again, Dorado Gaming wants to be able to pick they want to pick their support first, and we're getting the Lulu first here, so they're going for that more enchanter support this time around. And I do really like that, as we do see SYN refugees picking up the Kaisa here for Solo Mason. That's an interesting one, because I don't think I've seen that one actually get picked up a whole lot.
No, but I do think it plays really well into Solo Mason's kit here. It's going to be paired with the knockup or heavy CC. Yep, as the rel. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, so we'll see this. Very strong. Kaisa obviously benefits a lot from strong CC, as we're going to get the Lulu Sivir in the bot lane for Monoxy and Gremlin. I would have liked to have seen Twitch or Zeri, somebody that's a little bit more mobile. We've seen Monoxia on mobile champions do so well and like outperform, and be the best player on the Rift. When we put him on champions like the Sivir, it just doesn't. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Obviously, she has the propensity to completely take over a game, especially late once she gets the 3-4 items. But I like Monoxia on flashy champions, not the Sivirs. But yeah, I hate the bans going all the way against Gremlin as well, as we're going to get the Wukong and the Scion picked up for SYN refugees here. Obviously, that's a flex pick. And Dorado Gaming banning out the Gwen when SYN refugees picks the Scion. Kind of weird, but okay.
They might potentially believe that it could be a flex for Scion jungle. I'm not sure if that is something that Guo is known for in particular. But if someone can definitely correct me, but I believe that that's probably why they're suspecting that there's a potential for it to be a flex of the jungles, or it could be the Gwen and Mundo jungles instead, that they're suspecting that Guo could potentially go on, and that is the reason why they wanted to ban those potential flexes. Which then we do see the Shen here, another flex that could actually go into either top or jungle. I've seen Shen jungle going around a little bit, and it's absolutely like
watching my stream.
And it's just like, yo, wait a second, this is actually kind of cracked if like like you got the awareness for it. It's actually kind of disgusting how quickly you could turn, like especially if like say someone else takes TP, it could quickly turn from like a 2v2 into a 2v4 out of nowhere, and it's just like, oh wait, what's going on? But we do see Dorado Gaming now finalizing out their team, as they're going to end up picking out the Darius for Espada up on the top side, which I believe this is something that's banned against him plenty of times before. So this is going to be very interesting to see. And then the Swain, which I believe is going, yep, that's going right into the mid lane. And we do see again, the last 2 picks for the side of SYN Refugees is going to be the Shen, which I would say is probably going jungle. And then they're going to end up getting Z-Struck on the Sylas, which I'm not sure how I feel about the Sylas in this particular regard, just for the fact that the ultimates that can be stolen are fairly more utility ultimates, I feel, than what you would expect. That, yeah, I mean, the Swain will definitely be cool to get that, like, you know, that basically eternal lifesteal the whole time. Yeah. That'll be really funny to watch. But I think like for a lot of the other ultis, like it's like I think the Swain and the Cyclone from the Wukong is probably going to be the ones that he's mostly targeting. Maybe the Wild Growth from Lulu, that could also be a potential really good one to take, especially in an emergency. So actually, let me you know what, let me take that, let me resend that back. Sylas actually has some really good ultimates to be able to steal here. Even like the Sivir ulti to give your team the potential to chase. Like, I think that's cool too.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much the ultimates that you're looking to steal. I do think that he works really well into Swain, except for when the ult is on. Every other time, I think it really helps out to have, as we're getting a little bit more technical difficulties here starting in game 2, so we apologize. But I think that it just works well into the Swain, and then it really just does its own job of being able to sustain, take the long fights, and then set up the Shen and the Scion really well also. So I think that, you know, we should be okay here picking the Sylas, and especially if you know, they can play it really well. I think that that's
you're not down and out at this current moment, and you saw them literally just come back from a 9K gold deficit last game. So they can definitely take fights if they need to, but you don't want to give them that much time. Oh wait, hold on a second. Solo Mason gonna be able to secure that kill as Guo utilizing his ultimate to be able to get the taunt onto and is able to take out that Lulu, evening up the kills and only making the gold deficit now only one. But that in exchange though, that Dorado Gaming now securing the
Yeah, it's no cross match and I like that out of SYN Refugees. That's something we didn't really see out of Guo being able to get very much. Like last game, we saw him hovering on the bot side as the grubs were being taken, but he was on his inshot against an Ezreal, right? So a little bit harder. So I do like the fact that they're using the Stand United on the Shen to be able to, buffer these ganks from far away and then be able to just kind of be like anywhere they want, and then they're able to get they're able to get in there, able to get the taunt off, able to do what they want with this bot lane, and it works out better because you do know that Espada is going to have prio over Soez over here in the top lane. So what do? Make a cross map play, and we always see we see a lot, especially here in Olympus, where teams are incapable of doing that. So it's nice to see them actually pull that off here. So
right now in this top side, it's so unfortunate to see because you had such a decent advantage at first for the SYN, and now that CS differential has completely disappeared. Actually, now it's in the favor of the Darius. So right, it's just not exactly what you were hoping for when you sent the Scion up in the top side, because he was definitely keeping the Darius at bay for a bit in that early game. But now it's just like, oh man, he doesn't even want to fight him. This bot side though is very interesting because Kaisa I feel bad for because they are generally very low ranged in comparison to the Sivir, and so there's a lot of poke that could come out if you try to step up too far for the wave. But at this moment, it's looking like still, once again, even though there's a 15 farm differential at the current moment, I don't see it being like a complete, I don't think this is bad for the side of Dorado game or the side of SYN Refugees at all. Like
no,
I don't think they're in a terrible spot at all right now, even though they're really not far behind. It might look weird, but they're really not. As we do see though, Espada helping an invade onto Duo's jungle. And we see Swain ultimate now has been stolen, so that's something we're going to be able to watch out for, as we do see a Cloud Drake is coming up in the next minute, so it probably will be the next fight that we're going to end up seeing.
Yeah, and Solo Mason and Phenomenal doing a good job. His Goo is actually going to come around here for a gank, and we're going to see if the stolen. Oh no, never mind. He does.
He might have known
spotted.
that.
Yeah, he walked a little bit too close.
Barely caught him on the vision there, so that was just going to be just enough for Guo to be spotted out on. He's backing here, but we do have Gremlin who's going to put a ward back for his mid laner right there. So that's nicely done as Guo goes in, taunts up the Lulu, trying to get away after the polymorph coming out. So Gremlin's going to be able to get away just safely. In the next 15 seconds, we probably will be seeing another fight happen here. For some reason, the Sivir ulti was just dropped. I'm not sure, but the Kaisa ulti is still up. So the Killer Instinct can be used here definitely to get into like some to use like some crazy range reducer to get the Kaisa into the fight, and obviously have the shield and all that stuff. So that's actually pretty big. I don't think the Sivir ultimate being down though for the side of Dorado Gaming is going to be really big for them. Like it's not going to be something that's like, oh, we're scared that we don't have it.
Yeah, they are committing a lot to this bot side. As you've seen, Espada has left the top lane. They do want to make sure that they stack these dragons here as they're going to start it up. And yeah, SYN Refugees, it does kind of look like they're just going to have to give this one up. But, you are getting Scion to get a lot of damage done on this top turret. That's going to be a little bit of, some global gold going their way. For basically nothing, because I don't think that SYN Refugees wanted to fight that in the first place. And now, like I said, you do have Soaz getting some solo farm, is going to get some plates here, so that's like good for him. But Espada literally just comes down, they get the free dragon, and then they walk back up, and I think they missed like a wave and a half. So not a terrible play from Dorado Gaming Sigma here. I like the call. I like the aggressiveness in saying, hey, we really want these dragons. They want to scale into this late game alongside with their Sivir, and kind of keep him up with, if not against Solo Mason here, as ultimate coming back from the Scion here to just kind of shove this in here. So yeah, good. I mean, just good macro play from the side of Dorado Gaming. It seems like they're still comfortable from where they were last game, and unfortunately for this bot lane, this has to be like one of the most boring things that you can experience here.
Yeah, and it's just you
Oh,
basically
phenomenal.
Flash goes in, able to get the ulti, trying to get Silver A Monoxia, getting
Oh
shielded.
no,
Spellchill gonna use the
Guo.
ult, able to barely get away as Guo comes down, trying to make the same play twice. That's the Stand United use, not gonna be enough to be able to get this done. And now we go up to the top side though. Espada doing a lot of damage to Soas. He just likes to use that actually
Mm-hmm.
is it called the Noxian Guillotine? He
Yep.
just likes to use that all the time, man. He doesn't care. He just sees the 5 stacked and it's like cha-ching, let's go gambling. And now we see in Guo though getting polymorph dragged up, the Swain ulti
Ooh.
coming out, flashes over the wall, able to pull in another target is phenomenal, is now caught in the middle. Cyclone being dropped as this is going to be stolen by Z-Struck, but Yingu going to be able to take the kill onto Phenomenal, and Cleo's continuing the chase. Yuo not going to be able to help out their support there, and that's another kill over to the side of Dorado Gaming.
It is, and it's like so weird. Like you forced an invade when there's really not much to gain. I guess the red buff is big. You do get that, but then yeah, Phenomenal kind of forced to give their life over for the sake of their for their jungler. Yeah, a little bit of a bad call, but is what it is. I guess at this point, Shen's just not going to have that ability to really deal with Kleos on this Swain, or even I don't even think Yengu on the Wukong right now because he only has the Protoplasm Harvest. So one item, Shen is not going to have that kind of impact, and especially after you've already used your Stand United on the bot side. Now, I love the call from Phenomenal to go in there with the Stand United, but I will say that I think the execution of the play needs to be a little bit cleaner. As now the mid lane is also gone, and Kleos does see Solo Mason coming through. Does try to get a little cheeky, and there's not going to hit it. But yeah, I would like to see maybe better execution of these calls from SYN Refugees because they do have the plays, they just don't have the execution of the plays.
Yeah, and then we're seeing a lot more plays starting to be dropped. As this Sivir now, with the Void Grub's help, is starting to get this bot turret taken down. He wants to go in, but I don't think Z-Struck is going to try to risk it, especially knowing that potentially Yengu could be around. So bot lane turret for SYN Refugees is going to drop, but they are looking to take this Rift Shield up in the top side. They're looking to go for it, though, I think, as someone is pinging. Yeah, I think they should just let this drop, but yeah, no, there's no way they're gonna be able to get it. They see it there. Espada though gonna be able to stop him as the ultimate comes out from the Scion, forces the flash
They're
away
smart.
from Espada, and so they're gonna be able to get that Rift and get away, even though they lost their bot turret.
Yeah, and very smart from Espada there to flash out of that. You do not want to get knocked up by Soez and then have Killer Instinct from Solo Mason coming through on the back end of that. Good job. I mean, they get caught just a little bit out. They kind of knew everybody was there. I don't think that was like the worst kept secret if they were trying to sneak it. But I do like the fact that they lose their bot turret, but they get the grubs. And SYN Refugees, just like in game one, they're a little bit behind. It doesn't feel like they're in it, but they are making better cross map plays this time, and they are at least getting some objectives for their troubles. And I think the later that this game goes, it's probably going to favor Monoxia on this Sivir and Dorado like all together. But at the same time, Solo Mason, if they can stay protected, can dish out a ton of damage and actually fight really well. So it's going to be the tale of who can protect who in this as we move forward. But it looks like the next fight is going to be over this dragon. Both teams posturing not just for vision, but for position as the Shelly's going to be popped into the mid lane, and they're going to want to fight this out as the teleport comes in.
We got the TP coming in from Swain as they're going to be in the middle of all of them dropping in. That's going to be a nice Rel ultimate trying to get a couple members. An Ion coming down, but Phenomenal going to be the first person to drop as Swain takes that kill, but Solo Mason going to be able to take out Monaxia, and the Kaisa is still alive as Z-Struck trying to get a little bit of damage. Jangu going to be able to take out the Kaisa off of the bot side as the Darius is going to be able to take out Z-Struck. And it's still only 2 members left for the side of SYN Refugees, and they're just dropping more and more. Yengu double kill as Guo is just left all alone, and they're continuing the chase. Blast Cone go.
it was exactly how they wanted it to go. And these fights are going to be so hard for SYN refugees to navigate as this game goes on. So it'll be interesting. One good thing, Solo Mason does get the kill onto Monoxia there, so they do end up getting at least one onto their carry. That's going to put their Kaisa, above pretty quickly. What they need to do, though, is make sure that Guo can come in from outside potentially and not get jumped on so that they can actually protect somebody with the Stand United and then turn fights around a la a Galio playstyle. I would like to see a little bit more of that, maybe not the clumping up for Kleos to just basically sit on 5 targets with the Swain ultimate.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy to see how the team fight works. Hold on, Z-Struck going in, Swain gonna pop his ultimate, but I think that's because there's 3 other members ready here to go ahead and back him up. Z-Struck now using the Swain ultimate for himself, trying to dodge around and then you got the Rel dropping in, trying to CC them for as long as possible. You need 4 different members here to try to drop Kleos, and he's still alive for so long of a fight, and they managed to get that kill over to Solo Mason, which is probably a nice target that you actually want that to go to. So they're able to get that kill onto Swain, but that was, I believe, 3 different ultimates all used to be able to get that kill too. So that's definitely a lot of resources that was done for him.
Yeah, it was, but there wasn't really anything that Dorado Gaming could get on the back end there. So as I don't really like the whole going after the guy that's proxying and going away from all the money that you're getting in the turret now. But Espada, I think, is going to try to bait SOAS in here with the Lulu sitting around. But she is sitting on a ward right now, so Gremlin not going to fool anybody here. But yeah, when you have to send 4 people for somebody, you want something on the back end there, right? And unfortunately for SYN refugees, they don't get very much, or fortunately for SYN refugees, they don't really lose very much off of that play. So they are able to throw everything at the Swain and still be able to basically hold everywhere else.
Yeah, and then soon enough they should have yeah, and once we got the already the Kaisa is actually starting to stack up items, and it's actually kind of scary. I guess is that Dusk and Dawn that she's going next, which is very interesting. I haven't seen that built on a Kaisa yet before. So that's going to be very interesting, because it does seem like it would actually work fairly well with her with the mixed damage ratios and stuff like that she does have. So this is going to be a very interesting build at the end of it. And I think if there's any champion that actually has benefited from the ADC changes, is definitely her, because of how mixed build that she is. It's like, oh no, like you can definitely get all 7 items, have all your upgrades, and then you're just dishing out so much damage by the end of it. So I think that right now it's like Kaisa is actually something that we got to worry about. She's kept up the whole time. She has 3 different kills, definitely kind of ahead of the Sivir a little bit, but we're gonna have to keep watching out the team fights. Right now, the jungle top side for the side of Dorado Gaming, absolutely insane. They are 6,000 gold up as well, so that's already a deficit that the SYN refugees has to fight through. And again, it's not like you're constantly picking off the side of Dorado Gaming, like, oh, they're not constantly killing this Sivir over and over. They're not constantly finding the Lulu over and over. They're not finding the Swain and just popping him out. Like, no, they're like, the game itself is not as even as it might like look right now. There's definitely a lead for the side of Dorado Gaming in that. And right now, though, what's really good about SYN refugees is that they're playing like they understand that. Like, they understand that there's a lead, and they know that they have to play this very carefully and tactically to be able to be sure that they can secure the next objective, but also the next fight.
Yeah, but the problem for SYN refugees is that Infernal Dragon is the next
Hex
objective.
Splash into the charge, gonna be able to land on the multiple members. This might be what they're looking for. Kleos gonna pop the ultimate, but already down to 1/4 of the HP as the ultimate stolen by Z-Struck, as he has to dash away. Espada off to the back end, and he's gonna be the worst one shut down as Kaisa's able to secure that kill, but Z-Struck's also gonna drop. Kleos still in the middle of so many members. It's gonna be another kill secured by the Sivir, and they're just chasing down SOAS now as the sole member alive. Is this going to be Guo, the double kill over to Monoxia? That's just so unfortunate. I thought right when they finally managed to find a really good fight, they managed to find it with a rail charge into multiple members. It just wasn't enough. And now this is what's going to be the prize for the side of Dorado Gaming. It is this Baron.
Yeah, they're getting the Baron and the Dragon Soul right now. So Infernal Soul is being taken. They're trying to split the Guo into the top side here. Try to go for the Baron.
Couldn't do it this time again.
Yeah, I can't do it again. I mean, that's a call that we've seen them make twice now. And yeah, so game 1, Monoxia. Game 2, Kleos. If I did like he is putting in so much work on this Swain, and they do get the engage that they want, but you can't do it onto Cleos. If you do not kill this Swain within the first 2.5 seconds of your engage, his ultimate is coming up, and he's just draining 4 targets at a time. They cannot get it, and we're seeing now like Z-Struct on the Silas trying to steal the ultimate, but just it doesn't matter, right? Like he's just not doing it as well, and even though they started off with an Espada kill. Cleos is just causing so much havoc in the middle of these fights, and so if they're going to engage on somebody, it needs to be onto Espada, it needs to be onto Monoxia, maybe even Gremlin, where they can get them, because the wild growth and the shields that they're getting from the picks is just too much for them to deal with right now, and now it seems like they want to scrap a little bit here in the early or into the mid lane here before the Baron fight.
Ooh, they're gonna try to drop right on top of Sivir. Has the shield dropped on her. Monoxia though, the Cyclone coming out as the Scion gonna be charging over from the top. Yangu caught in the middle of multiple members of the Spada, gonna be able to take off Phenomenal first. That's also gonna be Solo Mason dropping right second. The third going to be Gua, as the fourth is looking like Soez and trying to get away is going to be Z-Struck, but it's not gonna be enough. Cyclone stolen, but it's just gonna be a mere knockup as they continue to chase him down. Spada finding him, drags him in, and guillotines him down. Triple kill to Espada. That is going to be a clean 5-0 ace to the side of Dorado Gaming, and they want to start barreling down this mid lane. They have the potential to end the game here.
Yeah, I think that they do, actually. This is not going the way for SYN Refugees wanted it to. Once again, they have the ban advantage. I think maybe going over to the blue side and getting their prio pick, whether it's a Jinx, whether it's something like that. Solo Mason did not do bad on this Kaisa, but this is just, I mean, they got comp diffed twice in a row here. I don't know if banning out Gremlin's supports is going to be the play that they do for Game 3. I'd like to see them change this up, because that's twice now that they've tried to ban out Gremlin. They B1 the support pick, and then they just run off of that. Although it wasn't as flashy as the Nico was in Game 1, like, this Lulu did so much work. Keeping Cleos alive on this Swain while they all throw everything that they have at him, just goes to show how useful the Lulu pickup was. And so what are you going to do as SYN Refugees now? I think they need to take something that has good lane prio early on. Maybe not Soez, because he's doing fine on the top, but they need to get prio. They need to get first dragon. They need to start working towards going for these maybe trying to counter these comps that Dorado Gaming is throwing at them, and start to really go for something with a little more early game pressure where they can kind of get into a lead, because we've only seen them play from the backside, and although they stay in these fights and they get good engages, they're so far behind by the time that this starts that they're just it's just not working out for them. So they really need to go back to the drawing board here and take this Game 3 and take the tempo back away from Dorado Gaming.
If there's anything I actually want to say I'm kind of surprised by, is actually the damage numbers that are being displayed right now on here. I honestly thought that maybe the Kaisa was closer, and the Kaisa and Silas were at least closer to damage to their lane counterparts, and I did not realize that Sivir actually did a lot more damage than I was anticipating, and the Swain being the overall damage dealer was absolutely so used to seeing his Roa build, so he's a lot more tankier with sustain. No, this is a Blackfire Torch into Leandri's Torment with a Rylai's, so you can't get away from him. It was absolutely disgusting the way that they played this game. And again, people were calling it out in the chat over and over and over again. It is a you picked 4 melee into a Sivir. It's so we definitely gotta go back to the draft board. Please don't ban out 3 supports and B1. It doesn't feel like it's working. I really want to see them potentially go for something a little bit more influential with the bans, and hopefully for Game 3 really come back punching, because right now these games 1 and 2 is showing us that right now Dorado has what it takes to close this out in a 3-game series, and make this a 3-game series. But Syndicate, you guys don't want to give that up just yet. So with that much said, guys, we're gonna take this right to a break before Game 3. Is Dorado Gaming gonna close out this series, or is Syndicate Refugees gonna be able to punch back again? We're gonna go ahead and see right after this break.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing cush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
We're getting ready into this insane playoff series. As you guys get to see, this time Dorado Gaming showing a lot more of their dominant side in game 2 this time around, and right now up the series to match point in as they're sitting 2-0 to potentially make this a 3-game series. Fel, what is some of your thoughts that you want to talk about from that game 2?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of more of the same. I just think that other players got to play that game besides Monoxia, right? Like in game 1, it was like Monoxia got the Ezreal, and then everybody else kind of followed suit, and then it turned into a just like wombo combo like late game. In game 2, like they really took it to SYN refugees, right? Like they really just kind of like had their way with them. I don't think that refugees was really prepared that game for the Sivir into like the Cleo. I think
Oh,
actually the
definitely
Swain,
not.
like obviously the Cleos was so hard to kill and wasn't even going super tanky. But they just did so much to give him the agency, right? And yeah, I mean, refugees. I would like to see them maybe just change up the strategy. Don't ban out Gremlin. Ban out a different lane. Start to pick out a lane or two that you can really get some prio on, and try to get these early objectives because they're playing for these late game comps, and it's just not working out into their favor. They're so far behind by the time that like 25, 30 minutes starts that they're just they're yeah, they're getting smacked around. And Dorado just looked even cleaner in game 2. So if they can keep up this momentum, game 3, like I don't know, I just don't see how refugees really turns it around.
I'm like I said, I think it's gonna really come down to the draft once again. They've like in game 1, it was like, oh no, like they got a draft, like they have like a draft that's really supposed to work. Game 2, I looked at it and I was like, okay, maybe you guys can make this work with the Kaisa and in these Silas and everything like that, but it just didn't seem like it was definitely their best that they were looking for. And I'm really hoping
Yeah.
that in this upcoming draft that like they really like go like, all right, what are we really doing here? Like this time, because the other times I just did not like. I just don't like that they keep getting like this ban advantage and they don't take full advantage of it. But it looks like we're seeing some changes this time around. We're gonna see Syndicate Refugees
Hey,
on the side of on
and
the
a
blue
change.
side, and we do see a ban change as we see the Bard this time is another support ban.
Right.
But we do see a little bit of a change up here as it's looking like maybe they have some composition differences that they're looking to play this time for Syndicate Refugees, and Dorado Gaming obviously still having those other bans that they have to renege due to the E-sub rule. We do see that Syndicate Refugees still wanting to they want to troll the
So
casters.
they're gonna
keep saying
basically,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're
same
gonna
same
basically ban
strategy.
out 3 supports, but they want to either take the Brahma or the Karma here for their B1. Like that's what it seems like to me. I don't know. I still don't think that banning out support is the way to go, but you know, yeah. We're doing first pick Nami here.
I'm honestly I'm the last person to ever say like, hey, bans, let's ban out supports unless someone's like an absolutely cracked support. Like I don't feel like you should be, and it seems like they're gonna ban the Yumi as their
Is that
ban choice for Dorado Gaming. I never honestly Yumi is not as terrible as they used to be. I can say that much. It doesn't seem like Yumi's nearly as bad as they used to be. And the Viego being the first pickup here for Guo, they want him on something a little bit more with the carry potential, and it's looking like they said like, hey, if we put Guo on the carry, this would actually be able to help us out. So they're gonna end up putting him on the Viego, and the side of Dorado Gaming is going to respond with this, giving Noxia the Yunara here. And you know, and that's sad because they don't have the Lulu anymore this time around. So instead, we're gonna be probably getting a really insane combo with the Vandal Pipes Braum in the bot lane with this Yunara. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to go ahead and watch. And we know that I believe it's Braum who was literally the best like Vandal Pipes user in the bot side. So I think that's kind of what the combination that they're going for. And here we see Smolder though being a pickup here. I think we just swapped away from draft here for a second. But we do see the Smolder now being picked up for the side of Syndicate Refugees. Another scaling pick that they're hoping that they can make it another like, if they make it into another like 28 minute game, and Smolder has 200 and the 225. Like I listen, that could be a quick turnaround for any team fight, especially if they can't touch the Smolder at any point. So it should work out, and I believe the Alistair is the next up, is going to be the support for them. And then we do see it being Malphite being the pick here for the side of Dorado Gaming as probably basically their main engage.
Yeah, and like I don't know. They're picking another scaling comp that's going to be going into the late game, and they're going to try to play around it. I do like the Alistair with the Viego because that's guaranteed initiation. The Malphite on the side of Dorado Gaming, pretty good. I think that's going to be a Malphite jungle. We do know the Viego is very good at taking out tanks, right? Like so, if the Gwen is banned and the Mundo is picked, you pick Viego, and you can get a lot of percent health and extra damage on there. So we're going to see the Victor coming out for Dorado Gaming as well. So we're going to see Cleos on another just like strong control mage, and I've liked them in every game. On the Ahri, it seemed like it wasn't going great until it was, and then we're going to get Z-Struct on the Mel. I don't really know how much I like this. I would have actually rather seen Cleos on the Mel and Z-Struct on the Victor. I kind of feel like the Mel is will be underutilized with the rebuttal, especially here. Yeah, I don't know how much I like the Mel pick for Refugees, but if that's one of their pocket picks or somebody that they're really strong on, Mel can absolutely take over this game. So the Mel with the Alistair, Viego, and then of course the raid boss Aatrox up in the top lane. So as finally on a champion that can carry in his own right. He was stuck on the Scion in game 2, so I'm really excited to see him in game 3 finally on a carry, and we'll see if maybe his potential to actually win that lane on his own hopefully will be enough for SYN Refugees to kind of turn this one around and at least give themselves one win, and then a potential to turn the momentum over and get a game 4, then get into a potential game 5. You know what I mean? And then kind of work that way.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna get like a very interesting type of like game here, because we're really putting a lot of the carry potential into the top side while we're waiting for the smolder to come online. So this is gonna be very interesting to see how well this is gonna go in, at least in the regard of like Syndicate refugees and like what they're gonna be able to do. I am more concerned for the it's like you want them to scale, but I think I'm not sure, but I think the one game last week, right, that we casted for Dorado Gaming Sigma versus Strawberry Odium, what was the champion that they won that game on?
Oh yeah, it was the smolder. They did not deal well with the
No, Dorado Gaming, they won.
They won with
But
the Ezreal.
I thought wasn't it the Renekton as well that was also the other champion that was in that game? Because I remember if it wasn't that, it was the game where they got the complete turnaround where hold on, Z-Struck getting chased down now as Yangu gets a bit of damage laying on himself. This is a jungle Mel fight. All right, I really like this. But the no, I think it was the Renekton. If it wasn't, it was like Dorado Gaming was really close to winning a game, but the Renekton was an absolute raid boss, and they couldn't like get through him. And so I remember, I swear that was that game. And I believe it was the Renekton that they ended up winning it on with the Ezreal. So if I remember correctly, this is actually something that we're kind of expecting, like Espada will actually be pretty good on. And that's where I'm like, okay, we should see how well this goes, because I feel like that they got a decent champion set for the side of Dorado Gaming, but Syndicate Refugees gonna definitely have a good one for themselves, as well as we've seen what Aatrox can do, and Diego definitely can help as long as he starts to get ramped up and he starts getting the reset in the middle of fights and things along those ends. But this is going to be a lot more. This top lane should be a lot more fun, because these two are going to be wanting to scrap so much.
Yeah, they are. And like I said in Champs, like I really do like SOAS on the Aatrox and the ability to carry from there. The problem is, I still hate this Mel pick. Z-Struck basically countered themselves, right? Like they had the counter pick and counter pick themselves. I really don't like the Mel into the Victor. Victor just does such a great job into Mel. That's kind of what they want, but.
Already getting a chunk of damage on those Gremlin though. Wow, look at that real quick proc of the concussive blows passive. Phenomenal, gonna be forced to flash as Solo Mason continuing to take a lot of damage. That's, you already have a summoner drop for you. You don't want to see that so early on, even with the Smolder sitting here just trying to stack up on the wave, stack up on the different champions. They want to try to at least get to that first 25 stacks to be able to make it a little bit easier for them. But oh no, this is when you see that kind of stuff happen with the Yunara, that's not what you want to. That's kind of like, you don't want to keep seeing that over and over and over again. But I do like the fact that we do have an Alistar in the bot side, so that can kind of like help to spread out fights once again. As Espada going in on SOAS. SOAS gonna miss out on the chains, and he's on the opposite end here, getting a little bit of healing. Gonna be forced to flash. Slice gonna be able to get it, trying to get the last little bit. Can he do it? Is it coming up? Please, yes, no, maybe so. I don't think so. First blood going over to Espada for the side of Dorado Gaming, as Yangu and Gua once again finding themselves in this bot side. This is almost exactly the same as game one. This time Leo, though, gonna be able to chunk a little bit of damage and deter the fight, and now this is gonna be the Scuttle Crab secured for the side of Dorado Gaming, so they get the kill and the crab early on. Nicely done by Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, and here's another thing too, is that we didn't really get to talk too much about these bot lanes, and obviously Smolder is going to be good. Alistar with the Smolder does give a little bit of, yeah, this is going to be caught out here. Malphite is on a ward here. So the Alistar is going to be able to give a little bit of sustain. Oh, as the headbutt's actually going to, that is not good for the Malphite here. Yengu's, you know, now going to have to recall here, but the Monoxia Gremlin combo of this Braum Yunara, if she has her Q stacked up ready to hit, like Yunara actually gets an auto reset for free every time that her Q is ready to go. So if Braum can stack different concussive blows, she can literally get 2 shots off like right away, and you're automatically sitting on 3 there as a Espada. So it's trying to fight again here. Do really like that first blood for Espada though.
Yeah, that little level disadvantage though, because we're seeing the farm difference right now between Soez and Espada. It's been pretty consistent in the beginning, like in the beginning of the games. Like Espada tends to have a little bit of a farm deficit to Soez, and I guess that might be honestly that could be indicative of what the differences in these two laners. Because Soez honestly in this lane hasn't necessarily lost lane at any real point. I think maybe in games you kind of said that he kind of lost it to the Darius a bit, but like I don't think that Soez has ever really like has actually ever like lost the lane completely. And it's like if you see like where things start to go wrong is usually when they start fighting around that bot side and they start trying to fight for these strengths and these objectives, and that's where we see Syndicate refugees tend to like crumble a bit. So what we like, I would like to see if they could potentially get a really good fight around an objective and be able to turn the head on there for the refugees. But Dorado Gaming though, it's gonna make it real tough for them, I promise you.
Yeah, they are, because they basically have completely. Okay, so he's a little bit of rebuttal on the Q there. I like that from him, but that's pretty much all he's going to be able to do there. But yeah, you know, was talking about that here. They're about to get a gank here, so let's
goes in, lands the stun, and they're a chunk of damage on the Gremlin, gets pushed away from the planer, not going to be able to get it. Are they going to be able to get the kill? Yes, they do. Solo Mason able to get that onto the Smolder, already propelling him forward. Nicely done, and takes the soul. That's actually also the Drake that can be taken. Now they still have the support there. Andrew is not level 6, he can't fully engage. They jump on top of him, headbutt, Pulverize, gonna knock him up, and phenomenal. Able to take this one that time, and that's a definitely secured Kimtech Drake for the side of SYN Refugees. Now this is what we want to see in the change up.
Yeah, duo on this. Hold on. All right, we got two things to talk about here after this play, maybe.
I'm waiting to see if I don't
think
Dominus was down now. I don't think he wanted to go in anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so two things. One, yeah. So we do want to see SYN Refugees take out these early objectives and get the fight over. I was gonna say that, and then I was like, but their bot lane is here to scale, not to go in. How do you fix that? You have a nice, clean lane gank from Duo, catching Gremlin out on their own, trying to you know, be cheeky and control the brush, so good job from them to be heads up there and make that play. And then also on the backside of that, Guo on the Viego, one thing that he did there that I absolutely love is stayed in the Braum long enough to proc concussive blows, and then went in with the shapeshift on the back end of it to proc the fourth pick of it. So really strong play from him there. I really like that out of him. And then yeah, Malphite just you know, Yengu stepping up a little bit too much, and then finally we're starting to see a shift, like a paradigm shift in this game or in this series where we weren't seeing that earlier, and we're finally starting to see SYN Refugees take an early game objective. Let's see if they can change that or transition that into the grubs, and then kind of like get this game going the way that they want it to, because they have the scaling, and now if they can win this early game like they can get this into a nice, clean, not easy, nothing's easy, but a nice, clean victory for themselves and Espada. Still fighting.
And I think that right now that's what they need, is like this boost of confidence at the moment, especially going down in the way that they did in games 1 and 2. Game 1 showing that they had the potential to come back from a 9k gold deficit and potentially even win the game when they caught a couple picks at the end there. But then there's also the fact that this is at game 2 where it ended significantly sooner. 26 minutes and 48 seconds, I believe, was the game time. And so that was about maybe 12 minutes sooner than the last game. So that just shows how much more control that Dorado Gaming had on game 2. And the last thing they want is for Dorado Gaming to get that lead in game 3 and then propel themselves forward. So as said in the chat, that was a really good gank to be able to get a kill onto the Smolder and be able to get the Dragon at the same time. Syndicate is now showing that they're trying to take more initiative within the map and utilize it, even though right now it's looking like Espada, I think, heard my words when I said that Soez really didn't lose any of the lanes, and he's like, all right, bro, I'm gonna keep going in on you, because every time we pan up to this top lane, it's like Soez is chunked down.
Yeah, he is, and that's not what you want when you want to have the prio for these Void Grubs, but Espada not checking this right now is absolutely huge, and we're going to see a gank coming out for Dorado Gaming onto the mid laner here. It does look like they want to try to get this Malphite ult onto the Mel, but yeah, like they're just kind of sneaking, they're getting away with this. When you have this kind of top prio, Dorado, you need to go and get these Void Grubs for yourself, and they just kind of miss the mark here. They miss an opportunity to have their one winning lane, and that's what SYN Refugees was doing in the first 2 games, where SOAS was actually winning the lanes, and they couldn't get anything on the back of it because they weren't actually going for it. This time it's Dorado. It almost seems like the script is completely flipped for these guys here as these games go on. So we'll see if we can get to a point where they're able to really do something with this, and if they can get this to kind of continue in their favor, where Dorado, they really want to slow this down at some point, get into some 5v5s and have Braum block everything that SYN Refugees is throwing at them, but they need to be able to get to that point, and right now, SYN Refugees doing everything that they're supposed to kind of calm the waters of this series and get themselves into a position that's
Yeah, and I think right now they are definitely poised to do so. It's not like they're, but the thing is that we can't count out Dorado Gaming just yet. We have to give them, we have to definitely give them the props that they've been granted this entire series, as they've clearly shown themselves again. As you said, they are the #1 team for a reason, and they are still trying to make sure that they can lay claim to that, as they are showing here that even though, yes, the map has kind of gone on the side a little bit more. Hold on here. We do have a Espada going in. Does land the chains. Not going to be able to get anything more. Yeah. Oh, wait. Now we're probably going to get another fight here. Level 6. Do they see Guo all alone? They can catch him in the middle of the invisibility. Not going to use the Malphite ult without Yunara there. Just getting them off of this. It's 30 seconds until the Infernal Drake, so they really definitely wanting to fight for this one. Victor doesn't have TP, so I don't think this will be the opportune time for him to back. So Mel is the first one on the move towards this bot side. All right, never mind. Turns around. I thought she was going to continue down. They were going to get ready for this fight, as we do have 10 seconds on the Drake. Viego backing here does mean that Malphite, I believe, has the advantage to be able to take it.
Yeah, I think that they're just going to give this one up. They're like, hey, we got the first one, second, we got the first 2 objectives of the game. We can give up this Infernal Drake. We'll see what the Drake is going to be. Also, we do know that Malphite is one of the slower junglers in taking objectives, and now they got Prio in the mid, they have Prio in the bot lane. They're going to be able to rotate quicker here, as we see Z-Struck is a little bit low, but Guo on the outside here does look like they want to maybe take this fight.
No, not anymore. Yeah, they're backing off. Gonna try to use the Smolder ultimate to intentionally use it, but Espada using the teleport, because yeah, they were suspecting that he was coming down, and it was like, all right, never mind. That's actually a pretty big cooldown to have now, because if you guys do try to fight anywhere else, they can't turn it, especially if, like, say Aatrox is all alone. Or like Aatrox goes somewhere. Oh wait, hold on. Espada though gonna find Guo channeling the stun, not gonna get it. Dominus now being used. Slice Dice gonna have to use the ultimate. Misses the flash over the wall. That's so unfortunate, and that's gonna be the world ender now being popped as well to try to get away from this connected. He doesn't want to fight him at all, and Yankee was just safe to take his red as he watched all of that go down.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate for Espada there. I mean, for one, you burn your teleport, and then ooh, as we're going in here.
We're getting a lot of damage dropped on the Z-Struck, as we do see the Q gonna land. Laser not gonna be enough. Barely gets away. Oh man, that's actually always fun to see that Mel is maybe not. Oh wait, why are you saying? Please back off. Oh wait, no jungler's here, so maybe you can make something happen. But I don't know how I like the Mel here. Like, it's staying. At least it has the same. You know, it's not like getting a farm deficit or anything. It's being completely countered, but it's definitely like maybe they're hoping that Mel gets to that point where she just absolutely starts deleting people, and they're hoping again that's like Mel Smolder is actually going to be an insane late game team fight combination or something, and that's something I honestly didn't even consider. Oh man, we didn't even take a look up at the top side, but this time the solo kill returned as SOAS is going to be able to take that kill. Syndicate Refugees now, yeah, they're looking like a much better team this time around.
Yeah, and it does look like the
Yangu is here as well. They're gonna try to back off. Down, slowed up, getting knocked up, and that's gonna be a double knockup for him, but not enough damage landing. Also, not even something close. TV comes in from the Mel off the bot side, and he's able to get the root up on Gremlin, but not to go chase anymore. Solo Mason able to get a second kill of the game onto Yangu. That was so close to being able to take out Duo, but it's gonna be. Oh yeah, they are. So they actually. Oh, wait a second. They do. Oh, they can potentially make a potential play. Could they? No, they're not going to dive him under that turret. Nope, never mind. All right, that's the end of it all. But that's another kill over to Solo Mason. Solo Mason as well, I believe, already at the 125 stack mark. So we could, like, definitely should be, based on the way the Q animation looks. I believe they are at the 125 stack mark. So we are getting this Smolder getting closer and closer to being online, and that's going to be extremely scary for these late game team fights. Right now, Syndicate Refugees definitely did a much better job for their draft. I feel, at least in that regard, like just playing to the way the draft is supposed to be played.
Oh, trying to frenzy here is gonna get caught out.
Yep, between two different members, and then he's gonna have to pop the dominance to try to get a little bit of extra HP. Yangu's like, you know what, brother? I'm sorry, you gotta die for this one. And that's just gonna be it. Espada getting taken out. It's gonna actually be able to take out Guo in the midst of all of that ever so barely, but he's gonna lose his life too. And at least he's able to take him out, so now they can't get that Rift Herald.
I'm yelling, screaming, maybe not into the microphone, but I'm screaming at that freaking Alistar right there. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, he almost 2v3, he almost 1v3'd that and got away from that. You cannot be doing that kind of stuff. That's a huge mistake from Phenomenal. Very off-brand, I would say. Something that we're not akin to seeing, especially in this season so far. Phenomenal has been one of the strongest ones, but just kind of messing up a little bit on the Alistar, knocking the Renekton into Diego, but not going to give up here, as it looks like they do want to take another gank here for the bot. Oh, never mind, he's just going to steal the blue away. He knows that his blue is gone, so doing the right thing and making the cross map over into the blue of the other so making smart choices here off the back end of that unfortunate death to Renekton. So I do kind of like this, as now Roxy and Gremlin all kind of going together here. Game's about to slow back down, and I like that SYN Refugees is sending their Smolder to the mid lane. He should have the 125 by now, and should be able to start really farming these lanes extremely quickly.
At the right time. Constantly like going in, constantly ganking, constantly fighting whenever they can. That one lane gank off of the, I believe in the bot lane earlier, was definitely something of a surprise there. Smolder though, getting a lot of damage down already. That snap up was starting to hurt. Alright, so hold on. We're gonna see what they can do. Smolder with no flash, so potentially could be the angle that they're looking for here. But I just don't see, like, aside from Malphite, like, or like maybe Espada getting a flank, like how do you engage on the side of Dorado Gaming? And I mean, you potentially could have Gremlin jump in as the Braum and utilize the ultimate to do so as well. But like, it doesn't feel like you guys have the amount of long range safe engage, right? And like, yeah, I get it that the real main engage for them is Alistar at the current moment. But Alistar, for some reason, once he goes in, it's just like at least he can get back out. Like, oh, hold on a second. Getting a little bit of a fight. Phenomenal getting chunked down a little bit by Manaxia, as Solo Mason though able to return damage right back on this Smolder. We do see the turret getting destroyed up in the top side, so Espada not keeping him out of this game just yet. And now they're only down to about, oh, that's so unfortunate. The laser. Right now though, it's looking like that even though they're about only 1k down, so this is one of those games we're probably gonna have to wait, as Gremlin getting caught out, but the blast cone gonna be able to save him over the wall. 4 members of the side of Syndicate Refugees trying to look around and see who they could possibly pick off in the jungle. Not gonna be able to do so, and that's just gonna be the end of that little spat right there. And we should see the mid tower drop here. So that's more turrets going over to the side of Dorado Gaming. So as they start to claim more of these turrets, they should start seeing the gold start to shift a little bit more. They're still 1k down, but we should start to see that change as they continue to start getting more plates, they start taking more turrets, and they start to secure more objectives.
That feels good. he said it was Solo Mate. I'm sorry, I'm watching Solo Mate. It's clear that it's like ASMR for me. Like Smolder just stacking up six minions and just getting them all at once. Yeah, I think the only thing more satisfying is maybe right? But yeah, they are cleaning up a little bit of this gold. The gold is very even. The problem is that Dorado Gaming does not have the scaling that that Syndicate does, right? So Syndicate is built on the Smolder, built on Aatrox becoming a raid boss, and you know, Phenomenal is going to be super tanky just innately on this Alistar, and then you're going to have the Mel and the Smolder being able to just do so much damage. And the two like tanky members of Dorado are going to, you know, have to deal with the Viego, and you get one reset on that Viego, and the entire fight just goes to crap super quickly. So they are going to have to be careful here. They do look like they want to. Okay, they are caught out there, but that was about to be a flashy engage from the side of Syndicate. They still get a chance to make this happen.
So it's fine though, and that's going to be the Alistair trying to get the headbutt pulverize, not going to be able to get the proper combination on the Minaxia. Tops his ultimate, flashes over the wall to be able to get away. And now this is going to be Minaxia jumping on top of Solo Mason, but now Duo finding him. They're able to barely save Minaxia, not going to be taken down as the first victim of the fight, as Aatrox is going to be able to drop on top of them, taking out Minaxia, and that's it. We do have a spot of TPing down, TP coming in from Mel as well. This is still a 3v4. Victor now having to come up, and now he's out the fight, and that's both all the TPs on the map used, and that's gonna be it for the end of the fight. Two members taken down as Guo and Minaxia both get dropped 1-for-1.
That was a big piece of the fight. I'm sorry, that was. I did like that started out so strong, and then if you're the side of the Syndicate, like, hey, you guys aren't 6k gold down like you've been in these past couple of fights. You killed the Yunara. That's the most of the damage, and so has it already popped World Ender. So like, go. Like I kind of feel like that's a missed opportunity for them to really take advantage of a fight that they kind of had the you know, the initiation where it actually worked out. Yes, Guo died, doesn't get the resets, but you still have Smolder, you still have Z-Struct on the Mel coming in, you're matching TPs, and you have Soaz with his ultimate up, and people clumped around. I feel like after this, whether they win or lose this game, I think that that's going to be one of those plays where they're like, okay, we didn't win or lose off of this, like it didn't like destroy us stat-wise on this play, but that is a huge missed opportunity for the side of Syndicate that I know that they would want back, and I guess we'll see what ends up happening on that. But they're trying to get Phenomenal here, trying to be a little cheeky and get some good, maybe some vision, some death rush plays here, and it does look like they're going to try to maybe corral around Z-Struct here under the turret, but. Yeah, they're spending a lot of time in this jungle, and once you start spending a lot of time and start going from brush to brush and not really getting anything out of it, I think it's kind of time to you know, change what you're doing, and thankfully they do that.
Yeah, and this is why you're starting to see this gold deficit has definitely decreased. It was at 1.2k. Now you're starting to see that Dorado Gaming has slowly shifted it, and they're now
here we go.
That was the wrong time to go in a Spada, but we do have two members coming from the top side. Yangu should be ready with the ultimate to go in if they want to do so. There we go. Soaz sitting in the front of Syndicate Refugees for his team, as we do see the Witcher walking down from the top side of the map. That's going to be the bot lane turret secured. No members die just yet. Dominus pop, goes in the middle, able to get this stun. Phenomenal trying to find members. The Spada nearly drops it. The ultimate comes out, and Smolder now has a 245 stacks. He's going to be able to start dropping members. Solo Mason going on the kill streak. Takes out the Braum, but the Spada going to be able to take out Guo, and it continues to take Spada able to get the double kill. Going to be able to take out Smolder from the Victor. That's a big ultimate from the Victor. Triple kill going over to a Spada. Only losing Gremlin. That's going to be a Dorado Gaming fight win.
Oh, that was the fight that they needed on Syndicate, and they just kind of messed it up there. They blew it. Like, you blew it. Like, they had everything. And I think Phenomenal going a little bit too deep on the Alistair, and then not providing a front line for his Smolder, and then just, yeah, Spada and Victor, or you know, Renekton and Victor together. Like, once you start getting the resets, like we thought Guo was gonna get the resets. Dies before he could turn into, I think it was the Yunara on that one. So like, or the Gremlin on the Rob, so wasn't able to start getting his resets off. But I thought that fight was going to keep going their way, but then just eventually Espada getting into the back line along with the Victor ultimate just completely taking over. And this is Kleos on another champion that is just basically draining the life force from 4 or 5 champions at a time every single fight. They got to stop clumping up. They need to start playing their comp a little bit better, and like they had that, and I actually thought they were going to win that fight there, especially since Solo Mason ends up hitting that 225, as you said at the beginning of that fight. Yeah, it just feels like unfortunate, you know, small misses from the side of Syndicate is really what's killing them this game. It's like on a hair, you know, the difference between them winning and losing.
That's just tragic to see. Like they went from, it was like, oh yeah, they're ahead the whole time, and then all of a sudden now it's a
4K
3-big gold lead. Yeah, just under 4K for the side of Dorado Gaming. Like, what can, like, it's like Syndicate really showed so much more strength in this early to mid game, in this particular game too. Like, there was, they felt like they had a firm control, but the thing is, like, I started paying attention to it, and I'm like, oh wait, now you look at the turrets dropped, and you're like, oh, hold on. It's looking like Dorado Gaming has much more control of the map than we were anticipating them to do. And now we're seeing a lot more of just Espada Gaming, or not Espada Gaming, wow, Dorado Gaming, because Espada has actually been kind of a force up in the top side and just all over the map at this point. But they are just absolutely, they're starting to take better control of the map, trying to clear out the vision, and just get themselves a chance to actually, hold on here, Guo was looking like he was trying to channel up the stun. Does know that Yangu is there, so they probably don't want to fight this here. He gets the, so he ends up getting a target there as well, so Solo Mason knows not to press forward. I'm not sure like how else Syndicate Refugees just cannot have another fight like that happen. Let's just put it that way. They cannot have another Syndicate. They have to be careful.
Right, but how do they stop it as well, right? Like now you have to go towards Dorado. It's this Baron pit. You have to get a teleport coming in from Soaz, and Phenomenal. You have to face check, right? They don't have a way to really get in here, and you know you have Braum that's going to be able to stop a strong ultimate from Smolder. So I don't know how they really get away with this. This is they've just lost the vision battle completely for this Baron, and there's really nothing else that they can do here.
Yeah, Soaz not TPing here. Guo going over the wall. Smolder ultimate gonna drop. They find Z-Struck, use the ultimate on it, and then Guo coming in from behind though, trying to get in the middle. Fortunately, Trevor's not gonna be able to get any resets. Double kill going right over to Yengu, and then trying to get more. Soaz coming from the bottom, but that's gonna be the dominant pop. World Ender now pop as well, trying to go in. Gremlin getting a little too excited, wanting to use their flash there now, turning around back to the Baron. That's the fight win for Dorado Gaming, and it's looking like the objective is going to be secure for them as well.
Yeah, and I think they've completely flipped this game now. Like, right, it's the official, it's their game to lose now. They get Syndicate just getting caught on bad timers. They had blown their proverbial load of vision prior to that fight starting out. Phenomenal had the back to get wards back, and they just took a bad time to try to force that fight. I think if you would have kept Soaz in the bot lane, just shoving that out, give up the Baron because you've obviously lost at this point, and then get your Smolder a couple more stacks and just trade the Baron for 2 tier 1s, right? Like force them to make a decision. Instead, they go right into Dorado's front line and have to take all of that upfront and back end damage. And yeah, then Yengu on the Malphite finally cashes in the 2 kills. It's just not going their way right now, and it kind of feels like the game is sort of lost at this point for Syndicate.
Listen, man, I want to say it's potentially lost for Syndicate, but again, we saw them get some seriously crazy good fights in game 1, and right now it's looking like they're setting themselves up for a nice good one in this game right here. They're trying to find something, but Phenomenal not going to be able to get that gank, and like you said, he has to literally face tank everything. Like, he has to face check it if he wants to be able to try to get a really good headbutt pulverize. If he can't see him, he can't engage on him. So it is really, it feels like there's really not much engage for the side of Syndicate, and that's really what's clamping their team down right now, is that they don't really have a go button to be like, let's do this, you know? But like, literally, like, oh, as we see the top side here go, Duo is gonna be able to find a Espada, but not gonna be able to take it, as Espada goes on a rampage, able to take him out in the 1v2. The World is being popped here, trying to get a little bit more damage. Espada gonna be able to stun him up and get away. Does have the GA, so Soaz may not want to fight, trying to bait him in, thinking that he can get him, as the mid lane though is starting to be taken by the side of Dorado Gaming, and they are 8k gold up. Gonna keep pushing these Baron minions into the base, and they're just trying to clear these waves as much as they can, but double cannon minions is just so hard to break through when they're Baron and powered like this. Mid tower gonna be the first one to drop, and it's looking like the inhib will also drop as well. Top tower should be going down, and SYN is getting fought under his turret. GA gonna pop, not gonna be able to get the kill, probably gonna take the turret here. He still has his Baron buff. Inhibitor mid lane gonna be destroyed, and Dorado Gaming now backing off so much as you hear the pings just going off.
Yes,
like, guys,
I like that.
back up. We got the Drake up now. We can just keep taking objective after objective after objective. We killed the Smolder. They're not going to be able to do anything. This is just this is right now looking like Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, and I really like this call because last time we saw that they got stuck in game 1 with the Asher coming through and chasing them after they bit off more than they could chew. I like this call. You get the inhibitor, you push down the tier 2 in the top lane, you get the tier 2 in the bot lane, and now you have an open mid lane, two lanes that you can kind of split. So if you go for a 4-1, a 3-2 split here in the top and the bottom, and then you just let mid kind of shove on its own, yeah, I think that's, that's probably the best play. Yeah, SOAS and Guo, I think SOAS does a better job when Renekton can't heal off of both of them, right? So it's like, seems like every time that Guo shows up to help this Aatrox out, he kind of like ends up screwing him over now.
Oh, and that's going to be the ultimate coming out from the Malphite. Going to be able to find SOAS. He's trying to get away, but the golden is not going to be enough. There's going to be a lot of stacks being dropped, and Smolder going to be able to get something. The heal's coming out. Victor going to be able to take out Guo. Smolder being dropped by Espada, and Z-Struck being the only member left. Is this looking like the end? Potentially it is. Flash, slice, guys stunned, trying to get him down. Z-Struck being slowed is just enough, and that's the ace. Manaxia taking that kill to clean it all up. 5 for 1, and that's just gonna, I think this is it. This is looking like the game.
2 more reps. Sorry, I'm reading the chat here. Yeah, well played by Dorado Gaming here. I mean, this is what I expected to see from them last week. We were talking in the break between 2 and 3 here. This is the kind of team that they've been all season. They really show it here. They come in with a 3-ban deficit in all 3 games, and they still find a way to close this out. They make games 2 and 3 look easy. And I know it wasn't in what Dorado Gaming was doing to them, and yeah, I mean, they had an idea of what they wanted to do every game. They literally went out and did it, and they let Syndicate make their own mistakes, and then they just kind of capitalized on them a little bit more than what Syndicate was able to do from Dorado. So hats off to Dorado. That was a very clean 3-0 victory for them. The first the first series in the playoffs here for Olympus, and they take it with like precision and walk away the winners, and they get to find out who they're going to be playing soon next.
Yeah, this was absolutely an insane series as well. Like, I honestly didn't want to see it go the 3-0 way. Like, I was kind of suspecting that we were going to get a longer series. But to be completely respectful to Dorado Gaming again, they were the #1 team coming into playoffs. And they definitely, they showed it. They without a doubt showed it. They showed that, again, every top team always has like a little cracks in the armor, as we got to see with the fact that they were kind of haltering up a bit with like the game 1 and how they were almost able to give like the whole game back to Syndicate refugees, which I think if Syndicate got that game 1 win, they might have been able to at least punch a few, keep punching at it a little bit more. But I'm not sure what was going on for them in particular. I'm more on the like space of like, hey, like, guys, like what was some of the game plans and stuff. Like, I'm just curious at this point, because it felt like you still kept banning out supports. Like, banning out Gremlin was an absolute necessary thing, and we saw that it wasn't just Gremlin that was the force there. Like, there's plenty of other things that probably could have been banned in this series to kind of make things a little bit easier for them. I don't know if they were playing the game on hard mode for themselves, or or if they had the confidence to just beat them out, cool, like that's perfect. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, like we were hoping to see a little bit more change, I think, over like the 3 games. And I think that's kind of where a lot of things faltered, is that they just it felt like they just kept putting the same strategy over and over and over again, and that didn't ultimately work out for them.
Yeah, I think if anything, they were probably trying to make Monoxia uncomfortable, right? Like he's playing with a
Yeah.
support that's not his normal support. And if we take away the support's best champions, then maybe, we can get into this and we can, get Monoxia on his back foot. The problem is Monoxia played all three of those games relatively well. I mean, really well in the first game. Third game, not insane, but also really well, and never really let them take advantage of the fact that his support was maybe on champions that they didn't want to be on. They banned the Brahmins game 1 and 2, then they switch over to blue side. They don't take it for game 3. They give it over to Gremlin anyways, and it's like. So what were all those bans for in games 1 and 2? I do know you want to shake it up. You want to try to get what you want out of it. They really wanted the Viego for Guo. He's a very good Viego player, and I think that the Syndicate just ran into somebody that maybe. You, this happens in sports all the times where like you don't want to play the team that is a better team after they lose, right? Because now they're like, hey, we got
Yeah.
something to prove. We're the best. We're going to show everyone we're the best. We slept on a team last week, and now we want to move forward and we want to kind of go with this, right? And so I think that that's kind of what Syndicate ran into today, where they ran into a team that was rebounding off of a bad loss last week, maybe a little embarrassed, maybe a little, down on themselves and saying, this is not us and we need to prove this, and we can't go limping in the playoffs like we did. We need to show and prove week 1 in the quarterfinals, and we need to take it to them, and that's exactly what they did. So hats off to Dorado for doing that. And unfortunately for Syndicate, sometimes it's not who you play, it's when you play them, and I kind of feel like maybe this was an instance where Dorado was not losing this series, and they were going to make sure that there was no doubt about it.
Yeah, they really made it clear that they are keeping their title as the number one team, and they really want to bring it all the way. And Dorado Gaming definitely showed in a dominant fashion, especially in games 2 and 3, that they have what it takes to keep their number one spot, to make sure that people know exactly who they are within this series. And it was a statement series for them. Like again, like you said, they're coming off of a pretty bad loss last week, even though the series overall was actually pretty entertaining to cast and watch. They were coming off a pretty bad loss last week, and they were definitely two people who were like, "Oh yeah, no." They were a team that was like, "Yeah, no, we're not letting this happen again. Like, we're gonna make sure that if we do this again, it's like if we lose again, it better be to a team that really like outplays us." And I mean, Syndicate Refugees definitely had some glimpses of potentially winning this game, and it just didn't work out for them. So they just really need to like focus on next season, whatever they want to do, just be like, hey guys, what's our focus is from here on out.
Mhm.
Like, unfortunately, your season's over, so you just kind of have to take that as it is and just take the punches. You guys definitely put up a fight in multiple games, but it just didn't work out for you guys. I can't really say much else.
Yeah, and we see this all the time too. Like there's bright spots. I think that Z Struck played a really good game into one of the strongest mid laners in the entire thing, and then obviously Soez is a huge bright spot for this team, for Syndicate here. So if they're looking to shake it up or whatever, they're probably going to build around him, or you get an opportunity to go play for a different interview.
All right,
I
looks like we're
apologize. You
good.
guys are watching
Looks
me
like we're
talk with
good.
nobody, with no audio. So let me rephrase the question real quick to you, Monoxia. We're joined now by Monoxia um, and Cleos or Bubble in the mid lane from the winning team, Dorado Gaming. Congratulations, first of all, and then second of all. I had asked the question, and I know you started going into this, but you guys have the E sub, and then they start. You guys lose your bans, and then they start target banning your support, who is coming into sub for you guys. How did you guys deal with that, and what was the conversations like, and were you expecting it?
Yeah, with the support thing, honestly, we were pretty happy about it because when we had him ESUB, we had him sent to pool and he has like 40 champs on that, right? Like he has like 20 champs in his S tier. So we knew his pool wasn't really gonna be a problem, and we were kind of surprised because it's usually like our jungle who usually gets pinched because he has a lot of solo queue games spamming like Diana and Gwen when they were super OP because he was rank abusing and elo inflating himself because he's terrible. But yeah, we were pretty happy when they were banning support, and then we just like got all of our best champs. Like I got my Ezreal. I didn't do too good in the mid game. I think early game I did well. I got my Saver, I got my Inara, and then Bubble obviously also got his champs. He got his Swain, which probably has a 100% win rate in the league, I believe, or across all 3 leagues we played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we were really happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I know that there was like an issue with the are they gonna take the bans, are they not gonna take the bans, and I know you guys worked through that
Mhm.
really well. How much was it last week? We got to stream you guys, and I have two more questions. So last week, we saw you guys a little bit like you guys kind of got upset by Strawberry Odium, right? And did that have anything to play into this? Like, were you guys like, hey, we screwed up last week, we're ready to, come back, like we need to make sure that we're ready for this one, and you guys like locked in? Or was it kind of like, we lost, we'll just get them next time, like whatever, and it didn't weigh on your minds at all?
Bubble can say his point, but I mean, we win traded that. There
Yeah,
was no loss. We won that game.
Yeah, we did win trade. I mean, it's a Orcs fan, and they needed that win to get into playoff. But
Yeah, we definitely did
also,
not lose.
Okay.
I was playing really intoxicated also, so I definitely wasn't locked in. But I think every lose we do definitely fuels us more to trying to win next year.
Mhm.
Okay, I love to
Okay.
hear that. And then I guess the last one is your you guys get the Swain, and you guys get they pick 4 champions into the Sivir, and then or 4 melee champions into the Sivir and then into the Swain. And I didn't really feel it in game 1s, but game 2 and game 3, Bubble, like that was like almost a clinic that you were putting on. I know like it was a little rough early on in game 3 with dealing with the Mel, but like I mean, Victor's kind of a counter for Mel. So like, what was going through your mind? I guess like especially in the Swain game, like like you said, it was like 100% win rate across all of your leagues. Like they're just kind of giving this stuff to you. Like your pop off moments in it, and how you kind of carried, especially in the middle of the series there, like starting from the middle of game 2 and then into game 3. Like, was it just he wasn't playing well, or were you just kind of just like got your champ and now you're just like ready to take over here?
I think his game 2 laning was really poor. Obviously you get a counter matchup right in the Sylas into Soin, but he played the lane definitely very poor, way too passive. I mean, I was like up a lot of gold. I was just like hitting his turret. I think I got first turret at like 12 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's quick.
So yeah, his laning was like really poor, and I was up a lot of gold just like off laning, and then we transitioned that into mid game team fights, and obviously like they are all short range into Sivir, Lulu, Swain. Like it's really hard for them to play into us in that draft.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for answering my questions, and I'm going to pass it over to Malco's got a couple of questions for you guys, and then we'll send it off from there. So once again, before I cut off, congratulations again, and I'm excited to hopefully see you guys again in playoffs either next week or the week after.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it, brother.
I got one question for you guys, because this is probably something that maybe other people are curious about, and I've been thinking about it since game 1. But that the little oh shit moment where you got caught out by the arrow up in the top side. that kind of like a whoa, wait, what's going on here? Like, because in that moment, I don't think you guys, did you guys like realize like how much gold you actually ended up giving back to Syndicate refugees in that moment? Like, it almost felt like they could have won the game potentially off of those picks. So I wasn't sure if you guys like in that moment was like, wait, guys, what are we doing? Or like, what was kind of your thoughts in that moment when all that was happening?
Was it when we like were getting chased out when we try to go
Yeah,
for top turn?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, we let that happen. Like I literally calmed it. I said, "Yo, I'm gonna get hit by this Asher, and we're gonna give them gold." We never make mistakes on this team. Every play is calculated,
Yep.
and we gave them the gold, and we still won just to prove we were that much better. That's what it was.
Yep.
I
Yep.
like that. I like that confidence, and so I hope if there's any other teams that are listening in, the Dorado Gaming is they're saying that they never make mistakes. All right, so you guys will never catch them. Y'all not catching them on a loss. All right. With
By
that said, what's up?
by chance, when I flash into 3 of them at that play, did you guys see that, or was that not on stream? Please tell me it was.
I
The
think
one
no,
where-
we
Oh, with the Ezreal? Yeah. When you just like jumped in there and then you died and then your team just won?
No, on the top side. Like I was out completely, and then I just flashed into 3 and died. Y'all seen that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think we caught that in
Okay.
that fight.
Damn.
That's good news then. That's good news.
Alrighty, well, with that said, once again, guys, congratulations on being able to 3-0 this series and making an early night for not only us, but for you guys as well. Because I know that this had the potential to really go for a long one, but you guys obviously came in as the #1 team and wanted to make sure that you guys put the statement stamp down on it, saying that y'all not messing with us. And I really like to see the confidence. I like seeing some of the little bit of the trash talking and the ego and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun to see you guys really keeping on top of that. So again, hopefully we'll see you either next week or the week after. Not sure who your next opponents are gonna be, but whoever they are, they definitely should watch out because you guys are ready to take them down. If there's anything else, you guys are free to go. Again, Monaxia, Cleos, thank you guys both for coming on to the interview desk. Fel,
Thank you,
once
guys.
again,
Oh yeah,
yes,
just
yes.
one last thing. What's it called? Their coach is like enemy team's coach is our team's jungle coach, and we played against like his teams 2 days in a row. So shout out to Ruin, because like despite us playing against 2 of his teams, he was still helping out our jungle and helping him out despite like the enemy thing. So that's really like good on him, right? Like not to just like stop coaching him and to help our jungle still.
I also have
problem.
one thing to say. Shout out BK Enterprises. We doing it the BK way.
Alrighty. Well, with that much said, guys, thank you guys for joining us here tonight on Titans Olympus to just basically the ring in the playoffs here with an absolutely insane series and a very much a clinic for these guys here, apparently. So, again, Dorado Gaming makes no mistakes. These guys were able to show it with a nice little 3-0 quick series for themselves. Fel, once again, thank you for joining us tonight, as I could not do this without my gracious color caster right here. And I hope you guys have all enjoyed the games. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you guys here next Friday for the next set of Titans Olympus. Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.